Stop.
It's the first thing everybody's going to hear is you, Mike, munching on fucking chips. Hey, dude, how you doing?
I'm doing very well, sir. How are you doing?
I am doing spiffy. I am having a nice beer, and we're going to do a nice little live stream, so Sunday afternoon is good.
Sunday afternoon for
As
you,
it should be.
sir.
Sunday. Hello, yes. No, we're with a good European people. Oh, there you go.
Beautiful.
Oh, I need to get me one of those.
Yeah, it's one of those beers that just does it for me.
Oh yeah. Hashtag proper glassware.
It's a little warmer than I expected, I think.
Well, it'll do you. What's the
ABV
on that one anyway?
It's pretty low, I believe, right? Isn't it?
5 point something?
5.4.
5.4.
Yeah,
I think that's the same.
4.
I could quickly actually have a page here because I wanted to order a few. I've got a page here open. Let's see what the normal, the Heffe, because you have the Cristal there, and the Heffe is 5.4 as well.
Oh, nice.
So they're both, yeah. I think that's like most of their core range is like that Dunkel is 5.4 as well. So apparently
the
that's like
is higher though.
Oh, the Vitus is definitely, yeah. The Vitus is 7.7, I believe, and the Corbinian is 7.4.
Mm-hmm.
I think. Or is that even higher? Let me quickly check. Hey, I'm right. Yeah, the Corbinian is 7.4. And the Vitus is 7.7. There we go. I add a few of those. Yeah. So anyway, what are we going to do today, buddy?
I think we originally discussed maybe because we were texting about the Alien movies, and we talked about just doing a movie chat.
Doing a little bit of a LV426 chat. Yeah, because we talk about beer a lot, but you and I both share a very big love for movies.
That's right.
And we have an interest in the Alien movie, so we figured we'll just chat a bit about that and just have some fun with it and see if people want to comment on it. And if they don't, they don't. But it's always cool because I was actually, if this wasn't going to happen, I was going to do a Prometheus and Covenant back-to-back viewing today because I do actually believe that those two movies, but we can get to that later on, do add something to that universe.
Oh, they do.
But you and I, absolutely, yeah. I don't really understand the hatred about those movies, but you and I had some interesting comments about the entire the let's say the 4 core Alien franchise, the one that most people are really into. So I figured let's just talk about those movies, and we'll talk about the first one because I think the first one is universally seen as, I mean, whatever anybody wants to say about the entire franchise, everybody loves the first Alien movie.
Yeah, the thing is too is I was doing a little bit of research. I tried watching Alien. I'm gonna say Alien 2. It's the easiest way because Alien could be misconstrued. I was gonna go with Alien 2 during this chat.
Yeah, do it.
I was trying to watch it. My wife's not feeling well, so I ended up having to take care of her for a little bit. So I only watched about half of it, maybe a little bit less. But to get to it, the second one is like really universally loved as well. You know what I mean? A lot of people do think it's as good or better. Not all, but there's plenty of people that do think so.
Mm-hmm. I agree. It is, I think, whether or not you think the first one or the second one is the better movie, I do think everybody can agree that Alien 2, is considered one of the, if not the best sequel ever. In any franchise.
Another one, another sequel that's considered as lofty was by the same director, which was James Cameron for Terminator 2.
Absolutely, Terminator 2 showed that's something interesting to talk about when we get to the second one. What does James Cameron add to the universe? But again, yes, also an awesome sequel, and proving that you can tell a new story in a universe that is established. Oh, that is just, wait, can you show that again? Like, that is that not the epitome of what a German beer should look like?
I don't disagree. It's awesome.
Oh, by the way, before everybody, I'm just quickly showing this. The review is coming up soon. I figured I'm going to slum it during this Sunday afternoon and pull out the stuff for Heritage 2019. Heritage. So yeah, that's good. No, but like the first Alien movie in itself was both, it was pretty groundbreaking,
Oh yeah.
but also very typical for the genre of those late 70s horror movies. You know, this danky atmosphere, the actual suspense of what is going on screen, no jump scares, no very clear audio cues when it comes to music and what's going on. And it really just built an atmosphere by showing visuals.
Yeah, it also it hides the alien really well. I mean, with the high def, it's not as like the movie still works, but the alien it looks a little jankier with high def. But
Agreed.
on the whole, they did a good job of basically only showing the alien in small bits, and it is uniquely terrifying. It's most aliens we see on film are because they're played by men are or by human, not by men. They're usually humanoid. This one wasn't. You know what I mean?
No.
It looked like just completely demented. I also like I'm sorry, I'm all over the place here. I also like that
No,
the
go for
movie
it.
it doesn't start off like it's gonna be a horror movie. It starts off like sort of a sci-fi movie, sort of. It's about a crew on the Nostromo. They're shitty to each other. They're funny. They seem like a real group of like a good crew, and it doesn't start to get to horror till like halfway through, really.
No.
You know?
That moment, that one lunch scene or dinner
Oh
scene,
yeah.
whatever you want to call it, where you suddenly, there's an interesting tidbit, by the way, from what I read. Many of the cast were not aware exactly what was going to happen.
They were
Some of
not.
those elements of shock and fear of seeing this chest burster is legitimately the actor or the actress reacting to what is going on there. Were not aware that this was going to happen, and that makes it even genuinely more frightening. And I think that is one of the. So you just mentioned that how the alien looked like. H.R. Geiger, his influence in it. And if you look at H.R. Geiger's design work and what he does, he has this weird twisted sexual connotation to many things that he does, and that is a big part of the alien creature, the alien. Its process, its birthing process. It's violent. It's possessive. It's you can almost bring a. It's not a nice analogy, but like a rape analogy to it, being forced on you, and it takes your life away in a very brutal way. That entire alien creature, from the facehugger to the ultimate xenomorph, it's just one big analogy of brutal violence.
Oh yeah.
Nothing about it is breathtaking, which makes it interesting because all of the characters that in all of the movies that actually respond very positively to the creature, who admire it, who want to have it, own it, be with it, it already makes you completely distrust that character.
Oh yeah.
Because we all know, so that's an interesting little tidbit. But yeah, the what I always loved about Alien, before we get very much into the first Alien, is, again, coming back to that, is the ultimate classic horror quality to it. There is it's not even that gory of a movie.
It is not. Other than the John Hurt chest burst thing, most of it's a lot of the stuff happens off screen, really.
It does. There's no over the top. If you look at, interestingly enough, by the same director, if you look at, again, Prometheus and Covenant, of the gore, the amount of excessive on-screen violence and brutality is shocking almost compared to his earlier work. And I always wonder if does that mean that he felt limited by the technology that he had in 19
and the budget.
And the budget, of course, or did his own view of expressing that violence develop over time?
Well, I think it really was like you could only do what you could with what he had. Now that sounds sort of ridiculous, but when you watch the movie, especially like when you see when you watch the chest burst scene, like it's really creative and well done, and it is genuinely shocking.
It is
And then
shocking.
when they kill the android, whatever his name is, fucking
Ash,
Bilbo Baggins,
the
uh,
late great Ian Holmes. Oh yes.
so great. When they kill him, like they really keep the tight shots
Mhm.
to because you cannot make it look good from far away. You're
Yeah.
decapitating a person. You know, today you can do it. You can really kind of live in the gore.
Yeah.
Um, so I do think that he was limited by the technology and the budget, but I also think that there's beauty in it. You know.
There is a beauty in it, and I think that is one of the reasons that a lot. I think you can tell when you look. And by the way, before we go on to that subject, I love the editing goof in the first Alien movie, or not an editing goof. They had no other, like you said, technology to do it. When they're trying to place the head on the table, the android head, and you see this, you really see the editing going from where it was a prop to where it was just Ian Holmes under the table
Yep.
with his head through. I still,
Yep.
it doesn't. For every time I watch it, even though I know it's coming, it pulls me out of the movie for like 2 seconds. I'm like, ah, and then I immediately am drawn back in, which is also a testimony to how good that movie is, because it's so obvious what happened there, and you notice it, and still you're immediately drawn back in.
You know what's funny is you get pulled out, and I guess I do in a weird way. But like when I look at it, I'm like, wow, they did a good job. Every time I see it, I'm like, wow, that kind of works. Considering it was like 78 or 79, whenever it came out.
I think
I
I
don't
just opened a tab here with let's 79. Yeah.
79. So like for what it's worth, I mean, all the effects in that movie really work for me.
It does.
Like, yeah, even the thing is, even when I'm like I look at it, it's like, oh, that they did a good job. Like even though I can see the effect, I'm like, oh, well, that works because some effects don't really work at all, because even if I look at it and say they did a good job for the time, like I like
Mhm.
that, and sometimes you look at it and you're like, wow, that just doesn't even work at all. That's the way you go.
Mm.
This doesn't work at all. This one, you're like, wow, that looks good for the time, and then you just keep going. And it's fun. Ian Holm is just such a good actor, so it all works.
He the moment he starts, you forget about the fact that that little, yeah, whatever you want to call it, a goof error. They didn't have any other technology. You forget all about it because he just immediately takes the stage again, and you're immediately drawn into that twisted android mind. Um,
Oh yeah,
it's perfection. It is interesting that when you look at if you look back now at the first Alien movie after having seen Covenant, Prometheus and Covenant, I know a
hmm
lot of fans don't like the movies. I love them. I think they're both very well done, if somewhat. But we can get back to that later. You can already start seeing in this one where Ridley Scott is obsessed by telling this story of how the creation of life in the grander scheme of things is a very violent, disruptive, and lethal process.
somewhat, yeah.
You can
I
already,
I
that's some,
also
yeah.
I also like that. I mean, I'm not to elaborate on you because that's what I was trying to do is
Yeah.
I like that the villain is um a little bit Michael Myers esque in such that at least in the grand scheme of Halloween one, he was just the shape. You know what I mean? There was no backstory really. I mean, Mike Myers is a little bit, but like the character itself was only supposed to be a monster. Like there was no excuse for the alien. The alien just was, and I like that. There was no morality. There was no backstory. There was nothing. It was just
Yes,
was. You know,
it
and
is.
that's sort. It works for me because one is it gives room for later growth because that's what they end up doing with especially with Prometheus and Covenant.
Mhm.
But what it, what it did for me, like in the moment, it's just pure terror.
It
Like,
is.
because there's no remorse, no, there's nothing. It just is. It is a biological mechanism that's gonna kill you. You know.
I think this is one of the reasons, because it is almost anti-life, anti-human,
Mm.
and you want to look at it like that, but then you are confronted with this crew who in themselves also are not nice people. Even
Mostly.
our no, even the protagonist, even the hero of the movie, Ellen Ripley, is a flawed person.
Oh yeah.
She's not the great plucky heroine of the movie. She is just one of the crew members. She is not being portrayed as this perfect example of humanity. She just is. Nobody in that crew is actually a very nice, decent human being, except probably for Ellen. And maybe that's
I,
why.
I like Kane. Kane's the captain, right?
Yeah, Kane was good. Kane was a decent guy, but you can tell that he. I think, like, if you really want to delve into it, he doesn't come across as like the again, like the great hero. He's just like, I'm in it for the
No.
money and this is my job, and he's still a decent guy compared to some of the other people on board. And I think that was one of the reasons. I'm not sure, still not sure if because Ridley Scott never wrote the script or the story.
No.
But I always wondered if he was intrigued by something in there and wanted to give his twist on it, because that's what you get back in Prometheus and Covenant, where he goes to this entire concept of, we as a human race were created, and our creators were disappointed in us and basically created the xenomorph to take us out. It is the exact opposite of what we are supposed to be in every kind of way, to annihilate us. It is the anti of us. And you can already see some of those elements shine through in the first Alien movie. And it isn't in itself an inherently evil creature, like you said. It just is. It was created to be what it is. There is no motivation to anything it does. Just do.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I also I like that when you watch the first Alien movie, that it's a crew of the people and there's no star. I mean, like, John Hurt was a star. I want to say, like, there's no indication that Ripley's the hero.
No.
You know, I mean, it's just at some point she's just the last one. You
Yeah.
know, like, it would make sense that was it Tom Skerritt who played Kane? Is that his
Yeah,
name?
Tom
Tom
Skerritt.
Skerritt. Yeah.
Yeah.
Or
Wonderful
Yaphet
actor, by the way.
Kotto. I agreed. Yeah. Yaphet Kotto is one of my favorite actors too. He's awesome. I love him in that movie.
Yeah.
And I love him in everything right through. I mean, he played Giardello in Homicide: Life in the Streets, such a great television show. But like all those characters, it's just they they just get knocked off. It's not like an obvious that Ripley's going to be the final girl, if you want to put in horror parlance.
Yeah.
Um, but it does feel like it does feel like a small ragtag crew just getting knocked off. It doesn't feel like there's a
Yeah.
hero in the group, you know?
And that is also immediately a great twist in the movie, because, okay, of course, Kane dies. This happens. No spoilers there.
Mm-hmm.
One of the first, I believe, the first real victim of the alien is Kane.
John Hurt, right?
Now, John Hurt is the first victim, but I mean the first victim after the chest
Is the
bursting
captain. Yes.
is the captain. So in any other movie where you go like, and that immediately, as a viewer, makes you go, oh, all bets are off. This is not the movie where the hero is the captain and he'll survive and he'll heroically, I don't know, with his ripped shirt and bare chest and fists will pummel the alien into submission or whatever. This is no Star Trek. This is immediately they tell you all bets are off.
Yeah.
We're going to kill the person that you think will be the hero here. I'm going to quickly plug in my laptop before that thing just suddenly dies. But that is what I still think is an interesting thing about this movie. And it shows you, well, in the end, it became a bit of a horror movie trope that you said, right? The one girl that lives.
Yeah.
I don't know.
The final girl.
Yeah. The final girl, yeah. And here it is, which is, by the way, one of the things that I immediately, if you go into a lot of the material that was taken from the movie, and I don't want to make this that kind of movie because we talked about that in the chat, like gender bias and everything. But this movie has no gender, there is no gender bias. And this universe that was created was already very much one that talks about open sexuality, for example. At one point, Ripley asks, "Oh, what is her face?" The other female character, I forgot her name for a moment.
I don't remember the name, so I can look it up right now. I'll find out right now.
But she asked her, like, because this is like, have you ever had sex with Ash? Because she's starting to doubt Ash, and she just very casually, like, have you ever had sex with him? Because the entire concept of, you know, the gender bias and forced views and sexuality are gone from this universe, and it's kind of a pity that they. That's it.
She plays Lambert. So
Lambert, that's it. Lambert, yeah. It's kind of a funny thing there that if you know this kind of information about this movie already, it was all cut from the movie because it became too long, of course. But that already tells you a lot about the mindset of the writers and the producers and the director on how do we view this universe. People just are. There's no real construct of hierarchy, whether it is... I mean, Kane is the captain, but really when you look at them, even the round table already shows like we are all equal here.
I never looked at it that way, but you're right. Yeah.
Actually, I have to admit that thought was dawned on me, but
yeah, but I think that I do wonder sometimes, if we project onto films, or if Ridley had these thoughts, or the directors, because I do sometimes think that we project onto film and create our own ideas, and I think that's sort of important part of books or movies and everything, but it is funny. It is funny when people are just really kind of full of themselves, and they're pulling shit out their asses, like, oh, I had that. Yeah, bullshit. But that one I do think, looking at it, I imagine it was deliberate. They didn't have to do a round table. You know what I mean?
No.
You'd think
it's just when you know this little bit of information that was cut from the movie. Ultimately, I have the box set of all the movies with both the theatrical versions and the director's editions.
Yep.
And there's the amount, it's like 9 discs. So that means that 1 disc for each movie. So that's 4. Sorry. Then there are 4 discs or 5 discs in total with extra material. And it really tells you how much world building went into what we ultimately don't see. And that if you know those little tidbits, it makes watching the movie a lot more interesting and gives you a bit of an idea on where they were going with the story and how each movie, and we talked about that in the chat, how each movie is very separate in itself. It's not a series of horror movies.
No, they're all very different, just in tone, everything. The third and fourth one are closer, I feel like, in tone than 1 and 2. They do feel like, it does feel like to me like weirdly just maybe because I don't like them. Like whenever I see a movie that I feel like that doesn't do the other ones justice, I also get on that's basically fan fiction with a budget.
You get that a lot in some of those sequels, true. Yeah,
and that's how I kind of feel about those ones. Like maybe it's because I like the first 2 so much, and then I like Covenant and Prometheus. Those are fun. I don't like them as much as Alien 1 and Alien 2, but I certainly like them a hell of 3 and 4.
I agree. I think I'm still very curious because I from what I heard, Ridley Scott is still working on a 3rd movie because he planned a trilogy.
Yep.
And you can really tell especially in Covenant, how these movies were very much studio influenced because studios wanted certain things. But before we go into those, let's go to the sequel. Let's go to Aliens or Alien 2, depending. Alien 2 sounds a little bit easier, like you said. It is in itself, I still think one of the best sequels, like I said, ever made. You know what I'm quickly going to do, by the way? I'm going to go quickly to some of the comments because we got quite a few comments coming. Saverio wants to know, what is a typical Dutch Sunday lunch? Oh, really? I don't. Usually, back in the day when I was still living at home with my parents, like ye olden times, we had like soup, and we had roast meat and some sort of salads, potatoes, stuff like that. Like the typical Sunday fare, really. Like we would have that, but I don't think there's actually, we don't really have like a typical classical Sunday lunch anymore. Joe Gansels, what's an American typical Sunday lunch or dinner?
I don't think there is one. I think especially because America is sort of a huge melting pot. It culturally doesn't really have a strong identity other than, um, we're number one, woo. Um, Other than that, I don't think there is a typical like
No.
I would say like years ago, when it was less culturally diverse, there was probably like on Sunday you probably have a boiled dinner or something, but
Throw it in the pot.
yeah, I mean if you want to go like a typical American breakfast is probably scrambled eggs, bacon, toast, something like that, but
Oh,
yeah, it's my favorite thing to be fair, you know, but
fuck me.
but I don't think that there's a typical, if you want to get really, peanut butter and jelly is a, you know, Americana kind of a lunch.
Right. No, no,
And
no. The Elvis, dude. I need the Elvis. The peanut butter and banana. The peanut
oh
butter and
yeah,
banana. That is like, if you, that is, you hate it or love it. But dear God, I fucking love peanut butter and banana.
I never had it, not even once.
Go for it. Do it. Do it.
Yeah, and I actually saw a video with they're talking about that his favorite meals the other day, and one of them was the peanut butter and banana thing. I was like, oh, I should try that,
Oh,
and I never did.
you should. You should really should. It's. I think it's amazing, but each to their own, of course. So we got lots of highs and hellos, and from like Joe, and from Douglas, from Gerben, from Bouwe, from Waldo, who's saying good morning to you. Cheers, beers, and good talks. That's what we try to do. And Thijs is asking, which movie can we see? Well, we're kind of talking about. I'll go into this Outsmiter. I'll tell you what that is. That is kind of really good. I like that. I'll tell you what that is. So, which movies can we see? We're talking about the Alien franchise here, and just drinking some nice beer in the meantime. So that's what we're doing. Outsmiter. Basically, what you have three. Usually, it's three slices of white bread. They don't do anything with it. Maybe butter it a bit. Just put it on a plate. They'll take a few eggs. They don't do anything with it. They won't beat it or whatever. They just take a large frying pan and they'll fry like 3 or 4 eggs.
Mm-hmm.
And then on that bread, they'll put like ham or cheese, what you want. On that, they put the fried eggs, and then usually it's served with a sort of like a potato salad. Like,
Oh, nice.
not the potato salad that you would know. We would call it huzarensalade. I'll Google it later and see what it is. It's like a very fine, like almost mashed potato salad.
Okay, I'm down with that. Like
Well,
like
I'll
a
look it
German
up.
mashed potato, like sort of a German mashed potato kind of salad.
Almost, yeah, like with stuff through
Okay.
it, like with peas and whatever. And yeah, I'm not forgetting. I just mentioned the ham and cheese, Waldo. I just mentioned the ham and cheese. I did. That's what. So anyway, it's so freaking simple, but it's delicious. It's delicious, and if you serve it with a little bit of a pickle, and if you ever have like a hangover, right?
I don't get those.
No, I know. I hate you for that. I know this. This for everybody. He could drink. He has a crate. He just said, or a case. I mean, of Bourbon County Brand Stout. He could drink it right now. He'd be drunk as fuck, and he would not have a hangover. Fucking hate you.
Nope.
God damn it.
Even last night, I was watching UFC, and I had 7% beers to my face, and I mean, I got up early this morning. I took care of my dog. I was texting with you at like what 6, or
Yeah,
something like
yeah,
that.
you were. We were talking about. I love that. That's always cool. You
So
always talk. You start talking to me at times. Like, I love this because I have several friends from across the globe, and I have this one person I talk to a lot, and she's up at like the weirdest times from where she lives. Where I'm like, wow, okay, but I'm on. It's awesome that she's awake so we can talk. That's always cool. And then you're awake at the earliest times, where I'm like, dude, go to sleep or be asleep or whatever. But no, you're awake already. I just love that.
yeah, I've always had issues with sleeping my whole life, so it's not unusual.
Mm. I have
Um,
the same. Yeah. Um, grandparents would go to the local dinner for lunch after church, but my dad's right. There's not a diner. Sorry, diner.
Yeah.
Whoopsie.
I think
Which
that's
beers you
typical.
having today?
I think it's typical
What?
what Joe says. I think it's typical for us Sundays after church. I don't go to church. I'm an atheist, but
Mm-hmm.
some people do. And diners are real popular, especially on weekends. Greasy spoons,
Oh, I might actually have takeout after this. I think I'm going to order in some takeout because now I'm very hungry.
Good idea.
Yeah, man. So Bawa is asking which beer you're having today. So, well, you are drinking one of the most amazing brews ever, which is like this is beer. This is beer drinking beer, as Matt would say. And I'm really on the opposite side of the spectrum here, because this is what I'm drinking right now.
Oh yeah, I mean that is a special drink though. That's not beer drinking beer. That's sipping beer.
That's sipping beer, and this is the monster I had yesterday.
Oh yeah, delicious.
And one of the other most you're gonna love this. I know you're gonna love this, and then we're gonna start talking about Aliens. This is what I had yesterday.
Oh, that's awesome. Interesting.
Yep.
Aventinus, no way. That's awesome.
That is the most. But I got what I had. I got a beer mail in yesterday. This one was in there. The same beer, but in a can. We're getting Aventinus in cans these days. 50 centiliter cans, always good. The Aventinus Icebock, which is always nice. And this beer with a 2014 vintage.
Oh way. Jesus.
Yeah. 2014 vintage. I love those. And the beauty is these beers, they're like what the vintage ones are like what, €5 or something? They are cheap as fuck.
Holy.
They are cheap as fuck. That's €5 for like a 6-year-old aged beer. And one of the best beers ever.
If you're sending us anything, please include something like that, please.
I can't do it anymore because the box is basically ready. I just need to tape everything up and it's going to go away like this week. So it's coming over. But the thing is, you should ask Matt, because Matt actually once told me, dude, aged Aventinus with the paper wrap and everything, that's like a shelfie for me. I see them all the time.
Yeah, I don't see them. I don't know if they don't make it over here. I mean, I've had Aventinus, but I never bought it. It was always someone else that would give it to me,
Did you see the chat? Like, if you go to the chat right now with all of us, he posted a picture, like 2 pictures above.
I know, but I'm saying, like, I know that he doesn't live far from me, like in the grand scheme, but like the chances of me driving 5 hours to go get like a beer, it's zero.
I know, but maybe Matt could hook you up. He could ship you some over or whatever, and whatever. So you should definitely ask him. He'll do it. He'll love it.
I'm just annoyed with the regionality of all these things. Like, it seems weird that, like, in the grand scheme, he's not far. It's far, like, for me. I'm not driving there, but like, it's not that far. And there are things that he can get so easily that are just beyond my reach, or they're not possible where I live,
And I get that because I have the same thing here. I have people that live like an hour from me, and they go like, "Yo, yeah, I can go to any bottle store, and they'll just have that and that beer." And I'm like, "Well, you know what?" And a merry fuck you to you too. Maybe we just live in weird places, man. So both are fantastic beers, both in their own way. They really are. 100%. Let's talk what is both one of the best sequels ever made, but also a complete opposite of the movie that came before it.
After I make one comment.
Yeah.
One is I can't get like Aventinus in the way that like you guys can, apparently Matt, but I am lucky in that I do live drivable distance from Trillium, from Treehouse. I can drive up to Alchemist in only a couple of hours. It's a lot easier for me to drive up to Alchemist than it is even to New Jersey. But like, I know I'm lucky, and I know I have a lot of good options. I'm just selfish and wish I can get Aventinus easily.
Yeah, but that's what we call FOMO, right? FOMO, fear of missing out.
Somewhat, yeah.
We always want what we can't have. And here's the thing: if you had Aventinus regularly,
oh yeah,
you probably get bored with it after like a little bit. You're going like, So this is also why I try to not drink Aventinus all that often. Because something went wrong with the mail. I couldn't have it before Christmas, but Aventinus I usually drink once or twice a year during Christmas. It
See,
is the
even these here, they're very easy for me to get. So I have cases downstairs, not cases. So they're easy for me to get, but I don't drink them often. They're for me, they're a once in a while thing, so I don't get bored of them.
No, but also, please, it's a 14. The 2020 edition is a 14.6% imperial stout in 50 centiliters. Don't drink them regularly because, I mean, you might not get drunk. I know you don't. You get drunk, but you don't get hangovers. But dude, your liver is gonna fucking hate you.
Yeah.
I usually only drink in the weekends. Like I might drink during the week, like one beer or so on a day, but I won't drink. Mondays, usually my Mondays are spent at work feeling so fucking bad about myself. And my liver hates me. My liver's like, not again, dude. While I'm cheering every Friday, I'm cheering like weekend, here it comes. There's this little part in my abdomen that goes like, oh no.
Well, even Sunday I don't usually drink. I only did this because we were doing the show. I don't usually drink on Sundays either. I drink doing the reviews with Sean on Fridays, and I mean honestly, sometimes I drink Saturdays. I don't like when I was like up until I was maybe 27, 28. I was drinking like every single day badly, like really fucked up. I was wrecked for basically 22 to 27. But I mean, nowadays I don't drink that often. Honestly, I mean, compared to people who don't drink, I drink a lot. But yesterday I only drank because I was watching the fights, and even that, I sometimes I don't do that. Really, most of my drinking is just Fridays. I don't think my wife wants me stumbling around my fucking house shit face all the time anyway.
I think I can relate. Because one of the benefits of being single is not having that. Honest to God, if I ever find a partner again, I hope it's a woman who appreciates a good drink.
Or dude,
and is aware, or dude. Hey, it could be a dude.
That's right.
No, I don't think it could be a dude for me. Not on a life term. Not on a life like. I'm just thinking right now. Could I live with a dude? Yeah, who knows? Anyway, I'm easygoing when it comes to that.
Yeah, no, it's not even like that. I have an issue, or even my wife has an issue with the drinking. It's not even, but like I have other things to do with her. You know what I mean? I could sit and drink beer, or I can go hang out with her, and it's just I'd rather do that.
Or you can hang out with her and drink, unless she doesn't drink.
Not often.
No, see, that's the thing.
She used to. I don't think it agrees with her like it used to. I do know that it's not uncommon for.
Wait, did you just call your wife old? Was that a very subtle way of saying because she couldn't as she used to, as in she has? I'm just asking, like, I'm just checking.
It's like this. One thing is, I used to be able to drink milk. I can't anymore.
Oh, we know.
So but I mean, when we first got together, we drink wine and stuff like that all the time. She used to go to beer fest with us and stuff, but I don't think it just doesn't really agree with her anymore. I think it's I know it's not unusual for alcohol to affect Asians in a negative way, but more negative. And I wonder if that's what it is. It just doesn't agree with her much. Like she'll have wine or she'll have a beer once in a while, but it's just not often.
I get it.
She likes it. She likes it. She likes the taste. She likes it. Just I just don't think it. I think it bothers her in ways that it didn't even when we first started dating.
The thing is, though, your body is basically like biochemistry changes throughout the years in your body. So it could very well be that what you could partake in your younger years, you can't when you're like. I remember when I was younger, and that goes for everyone. I think everybody here can relate who's a bit older. I remember when I was like 20, 21, I would like get fucked on a Friday evening, do it all over again on Saturday, woke up Sunday feeling a bit crap, have beer in the afternoon, and then on Monday I'd go to work and feel fantastic. And now I'm 30, almost 39, and I just look at a can of beer and my entire system goes like, no. Oh no 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 no. And I'm like, oh yeah, it's gonna happen. I know it sucks, but it's gonna happen. I'll pay, but it's gonna happen. It's just my like drinking on a Friday evening is still suffering on Sunday. Oh, is that the pooch?
That's the puppy. Yeah. Hi, puppy.
Puppy.
Hey, buddy.
Oh,
He's
need a
he's
doggo.
something's outside's bothering him. So he just uh, or he just wants my attention, so he pretends that something's bothering him.
Pet me.
Bruce, shut up. Come up here.
So let's go to Alien 2 because we're
Yeah,
talking still talking about movies. Yeah, like the funny, interesting thing about it is that we went from what is basically a classic 1970s horror movie, and I'm trying to think. Yeah, so Alien 2 came out 7 years after the original. So that's kind of
86.
a 86. Yeah, so for what we now have as a time span between one movie and its sequel, that's a very long time.
Oh yeah.
The movie industry in the United States shifted from these sort of more edgier movies, more darker movies, and it was still a dark movie when it comes to that. It
Oh
shifted
yeah.
to and even in the 70s, a lot of cinema, I think, in America was still sort of indie. There was a lot of indie stuff going on, and it was pretty, small based and small budget. And now we have the American action movie. We have our Arnolds, we have our Sylvester Stallones, and all this shit. And this sequel is a prime example of a testosterone-driven American action movie.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's still more psychological than your average Arnold movie.
Absolutely.
It's a smarter movie than I think a lot of sort of like your Total Recall and whatever, which I think that was
Agreed.
1990. But even though, or Running Man, which I like those movies. Don't get me wrong.
Running Man was awesome, by the way.
Yeah, so good. I think it's a little more psychological. Especially I just watched about half of it this morning, and I was really enjoying. I was enjoying it. I was seeing some sort of typical things that you would see in the 80s action movie, like sort of there's some abbreviated sort of storytelling. And I was watching the special edition, which shows some of its seams. You can tell that there was because they put additional footage with Ellen finding out about her daughter's death and stuff like that. But there were certain things where I know weren't in the original that were in this one, because I prefer more material than this, even for the detriment. Even for the detriment, I prefer it. But you could tell where he made decisions for brevity, and maybe it doesn't quite work narratively now with the added material, but it's still fun.
It is.
But, I really like the cast. I like Mark Rolston from who I know best from that Shawshank Redemption. He plays one of the rapist dudes.
Yes. Lance Henriksen.
Lance Henriksen, yeah, he plays Bishop. He's awesome. Yeah, he's always great though. Great actor.
Yeah,
he is. I know that Bill Paxton got a lot of praise, but he's kind of terrible. He's very. I mean, I think I actually saw him chewing on scenery.
Yeah, you like Bill Paxton in this movie. It works in this movie, but Bill Paxton wasn't playing a character. He was just goofing around. He was just Bill Paxton having fun with some shit, which is fun because it works for this particular character.
Yeah.
But he kind of does the same for his character in Predators 2.
The exact same character, literally the exact same character.
It just doesn't work in that movie. It just really doesn't work in Predator, and he just is so. He's supposed to be the obnoxious asshole, but in that movie, you really don't like him. In Aliens, you actually sort of like him because you understand that he's just this dude. He's just this guy who wants to earn a buck by being a Marine, and then suddenly he gets into this situation where shit just happens around him. He's trying to make the best of it. Yeah. And it works in this. Yeah.
Yeah, I think that there's a little bit more a good-natured part of his personality in Aliens, I mean, which you alluded to. I think that Predator 2 just wasn't well written. None of the parts were
No.
well done. It was kind of a crap movie, and I don't think that anyone went in knowing what the character was. I think that
No.
it's just kind of a
Agreed.
terribly. It was a terrible movie narratively. While I think that Aliens or Alien 2, as I like to say, is
Mm-hmm.
is a better movie narratively. I do think that he's a little bit of a scene chewer, you know.
A little
But but
bit. What was it? What was it again? We're on a highway. We're on an express elevator to hell going down.
yeah,
Like that line should not work. That line should be the most awful thing written ever.
it
And
is.
the way he does it though, the way what was it again? We've got boomsticks, nuke. I don't. That entire monologue of him in that dropship just is. It's stupid. It shouldn't work, and for some reason, you just love the stupid asshole, and I like it. But yeah,
Well, I feel like the thing is, even I don't think he was ever a stage actor. He might have. I mean, I'm sure he did stage acting, but like I feel like that sort of bigness you get out of some of those roles, especially with some of the older actors, it comes from being stage actors first. Um,
hmm
through the '70s and '80s, we were transitioning to where people were film actors primarily and first before they were doing stage. So, um, like when you watch a movie like say, I mean, this is way back, but say like the 1931 Dracula, like that was a play, a stage play that they put on screen, and all those
wait,
actors were stage actors, and so those performances are very big, and
wait, which one do
you
you mean? Which one do you mean? Is that Is that the one that was called Nosferatu? Or do you
no, that was 1918 or 1920 or something.
right?
No, Bela Lugosi 1931, which was a talkie, as they would say at the time.
I'm
Um,
not sure if I've ever seen that.
well, I mean, I was just using that as an example, but a lot of those movies, a lot
Okay.
of performances, even if you go to Gone with the Wind, very big performances.
Well, yes.
That type of acting wouldn't work today, where we have a very realistic kind of a tone. Um, even right through the '80s, some of those actors were sort of taught, in that same method where they were a little bit bigger. Those performances a little bit louder.
But see, I have some theater background. I went to a
Yep.
theater school
Okay.
as a youth, and one of the reasons, of course, is you have to remember when you're on stage,
Yep.
everything that you express needs to be big
Yep.
because you're the closest part of your audience is usually still like 20 feet away.
Yep. 100%.
It
Yep.
has to be big so everybody can see it. So all that's why a lot of people go like when they watch these what you said these older movies like from the 30s, people think like why is this so over the top and incredibly weird? Because none of these actors had any experience with bringing things down a little bit. The camera's right in front of you. It's okay.
Yep.
You don't have to right now an expression because the camera's on you can just be I'm sad. It can be it doesn't have to be and
Well,
that's you know what I mean?
yep. Even one of the most famous things ever in film was Charlton Heston in Planet of the Apes. God damn it! At the end, and like that, it comes off extremely goofy. On stage, it wouldn't. Even though I hate
No.
Heston and everything, but 100%.
Aston is an asshole. His
But
his part his part, by the way, in the Planet of the Apes remake, the one with Burton
mhm,
by Tim Burton, is
yep,
insanely fucked up. If you think about the fact that it's Charles Heston playing a monkey right now, who is anti-weapon.
yep,
It's just that is still fucked up in my head. But anyway,
oh yeah.
sorry, I was interrupting. I'm sorry.
No, but no, you mean you basically you said exactly kind of what I was inferring, but like stage actors had to project to an audience, and they
Yeah.
were still doing that with cameras at first, and sometimes I feel a little bit like Patton was sort of bigging it up in ways that like later on, like you can see like in Frailty, like a really nuanced performance. He was a really good actor, um, but
Oh
he
yeah.
was that guy was. chewing on everything in Alien 2, you know?
He did this one show like a few years ago, not a few years ago, many years ago, because I think, I was still living with my parents. He did the show where he was living in, I think it was a Mormon. Was he a Mormon? In a Mormon. Anyway, he was married to several wives, but they all had like their own
Oh,
house, but they were
yeah,
all connected.
yeah.
What was that show called again?
I don't remember. I never saw it, but
But
I know of it.
But that's Bill Paxton just showing like, dude, he can act. He's an actor. He
Oh,
was
yeah.
subtle. He was awesome. He was small, and everything felt so real and natural. And I think Bill Paxton, and maybe that's it. I think Bill Paxton is one of those actors, and you see them sometimes. My favorite example of one of these actors is Jeffrey Rush.
Oh, wow, he's outstanding. Outstanding. And he can play big too.
He can play because he does all of these small, beautiful parts and little things like The King's Speech,
Oh,
for
yeah,
example.
beautiful.
Fantastic. Beautiful. And then he just outclasses everyone in Pirates 3.
Yeah, well,
because that is not even. No, but that is like at that moment, that is just Jeffrey Rush having so much fun.
That's
playing
Jeffrey
around
Rush.
As Barbossa. Yeah.
That's Jeffrey Rush as a swashbuckling stage actor too. Like he's
Exactly.
Errol Flynn. He's all those sort of like, you know.
Oh, it's beautiful. It's beautiful.
It's so good, yeah.
I love it.
Yeah.
I loved him in Mystery Men. In Mystery Men as Casanova Frankenstein. Have you seen that movie?
I saw it 20 years ago. I don't remember it that well.
My favorite quote from any movie ever is Jeffrey Rush walking in his lair because he played Casanova Frankenstein. He was the bad guy, and he walks into his lair in that movie after having done some time in jail. He walks in and he utters the best line ever. "Ah, the old disco room, just as I left it."
Yeah,
it's gorgeous.
He's a very magnetic kind of personality. Even in small roles, you remember him very well.
Yeah, absolutely. And we completely drifted off of this subject, by the way. But
well,
whatever.
I was going to bring up one thing. About Alien 2 was, do you know Vasquez, the character Vasquez?
Oh, I loved her.
Do you know that she played in Terminator 2 as John's foster mother?
What?
You know Terminator 2? You know John's foster parents? That's her.
No.
Yeah. Look it up.
The short haired but in the curls in the what?
His foster mother, the one that yeah. That's Vasquez. I was shocked. Yeah, I looked it up this morning. I didn't know that until I was looking up. I was like, where have I seen her before?
I know so much stupid trivia when it comes to movies, and this is one that actually shocks me. I'm like, I did not know this. What the fuck?
Well, the actress is not Hispanic. She's a Jewish lady. Forget her name, Goldstein or something obnoxiously. And yeah, look her up.
Do I know her from anything? Should I know her from anything?
I only know her from Terminator 2 and Alien 2.
I could have sworn she was Hispanic.
She's not. She's Jewish.
I loved her line. When what's his face? Bill Paxton's character.
Beautiful. He says, "Have you been mistaken?" Yeah. Have you ever
exactly?
Yeah. Have you ever been mistaken for a man? And he says, "No, have you?"
Oh, fucking hell! That is. That is
good.
Just, that is magnificent. That is magnificent. That is. I can rewatch that scene and by the way, fantastically beautiful woman.
Yeah, I thought she was. She was not that good looking in Terminator 2. You know, it's only a few years later.
I need to rewatch Terminator, but maybe that's just the way they wanted to make her look. Like maybe they wanted to make her look like just generic.
Oh yeah.
I don't know. I thought in Aliens, I had a crush on her. I'm sorry, in Aliens, I had a huge crush on her.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But then again,
she's
a woman that beat your ass.
I appreciate strong women. Absolutely, I love strong women. I don't want any. No, but what I also really appreciate is like she's tiny. I have a thing for Have you ever watched Star Trek Deep Space Nine?
As a kid, I'm not as familiar
Yeah.
with that one as I am with Next Generation.
At some point in Deep Space Nine, in the last season, we get a new Dax, an SU Dax, and this is Nicole de Boer.
Yeah, the other
Canadian
actress
actress,
left the
like,
show, right?
yeah, it was a whole shitstorm there and everything. But anyway, so they got a new actress for a new part, but within the character, too much to explain why it works. But anyway, new actress for a new character, but also the same. Short woman, cute as hell.
Name?
Nicole de Boer. I think she is Canadian with Dutch roots. Like many people in like the United States and Canada have like Dutch roots and everything.
Yeah, I know who she is. Yeah, I know who she is. I've seen her in other stuff. Yeah, very attractive.
Cube, I think, is her most well-known thing. Horror movie from early 90s, I think.
Yeah, I know of it. I know I never saw it though. She was in Brain Candy.
She was probably in a lot of things that are very familiar for you and not for me because they were like domestic releases a lot for you.
It was Kids in the Hall. I know that. Forever Night. I never saw Forever Night, but I'm familiar with it. Outer Limits.
Outer Limits. She did Outer Limits, right? Yeah.
Yeah. The Dead Zone. She's in a lot of stuff. Stargate Atlantis. Yeah.
Well, she was in Atlantis. I never saw Atlantis. Just saw parts of it.
I think it was just it's just one episode though. So.
Oh, okay, cool. So, but you mentioned in the chat when we were talking about aliens, and that's the thing, and that's a nice little like sort of a dividing line. There are many fans in the Alien fandom that say that Aliens, the second one, Alien 2, is the better movie, and a lot would say that Alien is the better movie.
Mm-hmm. Alien is
which
better.
One? For me,
Alien
go
for
for
me
it.
Alien for me is better cinema. Alien 2 is better better popcorn.
Fist bump.
Yeah, bam.
Fucking that's it. Like Alien is the better made. Well, not better made as in production value, because let's face it, Aliens has so much higher production value. That movie is still now, like, what is it? 25 years old now? Yeah, 25. No, 35.
Yeah, 35.
Yep. 35 years old. That movie, the Alien Queen creature effect is phenomenal.
Yeah, that really works. Steven, today, it works.
It works. The mech fight between Ripley and the Alien Queen still holds up. It looks amazing. It is, at the end, though, as much as I love it and as much as I think it is an amazing movie with true horror and terror in it, and just well-written dialogues, interesting characters. I mean, they're not the most in-depth characters ever, but you still are drawn to these people. You want to know what, why, and how, and what. It is, in the end of the day, a popcorn flick. So there's this British stand-up comedian. His name is her name. Sorry, I should say her name now. Excuse me, Eddie Izzard.
Eddie Izzard identifies as a man.
No. She identifies as female now, I believe. Since like not that long ago. Eddie Izzard. Wait, let me Google that too, because I saw this a few days ago. This is why I have to apologize. I sometimes have that with Elliot Page as well, because that happened not that long ago.
You're right. I didn't know that. Okay.
No, this happened like a few weeks ago, so it's really normal that you wouldn't know yet. And I have the same thing with Elliot Page every now and then, when I still want to say Ellen and her, but I keep like it's recent, so your mind still has to do that. Get used to the. Yeah. So anyway, but Eddie had this wonderful sketch where he was talking about English movies versus American movies, and that's where I think the dividing line between Alien and Aliens happens. So he's like, imagine you're watching a movie and you got a bucket of popcorn. And when you're watching an English movie with that bucket of popcorn, you go like, and then you watch Aliens, and then you go like, or an American movie, and you go like,
yeah. I
That
feel
that
I feel like that is sort of like generalizing in a weird way because like if I watch like Snatch, which is a British film, I am destroying popcorn. You know what I mean? Like um, and if you
Snatch is
see,
cinema gold.
yeah, it's so good, but it's an English film, and I mean it's English in its way that the humor is is dry, but it's a super over the top, screwed up, fucked up movie.
It's
Um,
gorgeous.
it's awesome. I love
The
it.
scene with yeah, the scene with the hair. The scene with the hair. What's going to happen to the hair? It's going to get fucked. What? Proper fucked? Yeah, Tommy, proper fucked before the Germans get here.
Yeah,
What?
yeah.
What are the dogs? It's beautiful.
I love the whole thing. I love Bullet. I like the Bullet Dodger and like me. And it's a really really good film. But like it's an English film, and I can you pop
Yeah,
popcorn the
but
whole
you got
time.
exactly, of course, you got English film and English film. This is, by the way, an interesting. Very quickly, some comments. Rene Jansi, what about Bubberman 2020? I did not have that one. Kind of bummed out that I didn't, but maybe I can find it somewhere. Don't disrespect to your American. Oh, don't. He doesn't. He doesn't have disrespect to the Americans. But I was wondering how many American people had understood the dialogue from the King's Speech, since the actors had to speak in old version of English.
It's not really old version of English though. It's I
I
mean
think it's.
the movie took place in the 1940s. That's not. I mean,
I think what people mean is that back then, old
they were
English, as
speaking.
in.
Yeah, but they were speaking in received pronunciation, which is like it's easy to understand for Americans. It's not
eh,
a
I think.
hard
Yeah. For
for me.
understand, what's
It's
the
not hard for me.
understanding? I think that what the thing is I understand. I think where Saverio is coming from, because nowadays you're like you very much you're very much used to. Matt made a comment in the live stream 2 days ago when I did a live stream where he said, like, have you ever noticed? He started off with that straight to the bat, where if I stream with you guys, I go American. If I stream with the British guys, I start speaking British. And what I think Saverio means is these days British basically it's just British people talking like that, really, aren't they? And they mumble the really lot of the words that are mumbling, blah 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 blah. And I hear that sometimes with the guys that I stream with in the UK, that if you speak in what was then in the 70s, in the 40s perceived as proper English, it is all very much more enunciate your words properly, pronounce everything clearly and with purpose. And there's a big difference there.
Yeah, but I don't think that was English in the 1940s. That's just English of the upper class, and it's still the English of the upper class today. I mean, if you listen to Prince Charles or like to name a common upper class British person, that's just the way that they would speak. In
They
the
would.
accent, it's called received pronunciation. It's not like your Yorkshire kind of accent or your sort of soccer hooligan accent. But for me, the English, I can, I'm pretty well versed
I
in
mean,
English.
you are
I,
you are pretty, by the way, but just saying.
I get the only thing I have trouble with British English is sometimes like the slang, especially like the modern slang.
Yeah.
It can get a little too like I figured out via like context clues, but sometimes the slang is a little kind of crazy.
I'm in a few messenger chats with beer tubers, with you guys.
Hmm.
I'm with you guys. I'm with you guys, and I'm with the British people as well. And every now and then they drop words or sentences that make me just really go like, "What are you talking about? I don't understand. What is this?" It took me a while to figure out what "the lads" means.
Oh, okay, I know that.
Not the de the lads, and there's apparently slang for those, like the guys.
Yep.
But they typed it
Yep.
in such a way that made me go, like, "What are you talking about?" Oh,
Yeah, honestly, like the biggest issue I have, and it's honestly, it's not even that much different than I have with Americans either. Is like the younger people slang. I don't even understand it. Like,
please.
I don't understand it at all. If you, even here, like if I'm if I'm listening to to some of my younger friends, it just to me it's just gibberish. I've time with received pronunciation.
I know, but like, I still like this one. I use it every now and then because I understood what it meant. But the first time I ever saw the word yeet, yeet,
Yeah, I had asked them about that a few weeks ago.
yeet.
Yeah.
Who ever thought like I am going to throw a thing or a person over a long distance with force? Consider the word yeet. I don't know. Maybe I'm weird. I'm too old for this shit.
I remember even when I was in my early 20s, I was at like a late night bowling thing, and very club type atmosphere, dark and some obnoxious music and stuff. And there was a song by someone, a rap group called the Yin Yang Twins or some nonsense.
I
And I
heard of
remember,
them.
yeah, I remember just thinking, what the fuck are they talking about? And I was 22, and like and slang had already passed me by.
I know.
So like 14, 15 years later, it's even worse. So
I mean, I'm definitely in my Murtaugh stage of life right now. Like, I'm getting too old for this shit. Like, just English, motherfucker. Do you speak it? You know?
yeah, no,
Also,
I'm the same way.
yeah.
Even just say where I would start saying like, oh, I'm chilling. That took a long time for me because I'm like, that just sounds so stupid. I say it now, but like it was tough because I'm not chilling when I'm kind of cold.
Okay, I'm sorry. I use chilling every now and then. I'm just chilling.
No, I do.
Yeah, I'm just
I
chilling.
do, but it took me a
Wow.
while to sort of absorb it because it was just so stupid.
Beautiful. Okay, let's get back to Aliens. Alien
Yeah,
2.
of course. Yep.
Let's get back to that because you mentioned in the. Did you mention that earlier in the stream, or was that in the chat where you talked about the fact that two of the most successful sequels ever filmed are by James Cameron? And you know what's very interesting? There are many movies by James Cameron that I just do not like, which I think are badly made movies.
Which ones?
But well, two spring to mind straight away.
Mm-hmm.
I do not like Avatar. I do not like Titanic.
Were they badly made?
I think these were badly made movies. I think that they were not well put together in terms of pacing, dialogue, directing. Okay, here's a pet peeve. Here's a pet peeve, and maybe this is why it works for those movies.
Mm-hmm.
I have a thing, and people are gonna. You know what the worst Star Wars movie ever is? And I'm not talking about comparing just literally in terms of how it is made. Do you know what the worst Star Wars movie ever is?
I know all 6 of them. Yeah.
Yeah.
Next.
A New Hope.
It was definitely the one that sort of, it's definitely the one that has the most problems as far as the plot.
Acting, okay, because George Lucas cannot work with people. George Lucas can only tell stories through pretty pictures. That's why, because he had the technology to do it with the first Star Wars movie, A New Hope. It looks incredibly beautiful. Editing, directing, and I mean directing in terms of scenery and directing characters, right? Actors, dialogue. Everything in that movie just doesn't work. If you really deconstruct it as a well-made movie, it's bad. The editing sucks.
Yeah, but it is still better than episodes 1, 2, 3, 7, 8, 9. Like by far better.
Let's leave that one for a different live stream.
Okay.
My point was, because we should do a live stream on that. I would love to really pick your brain on all of that. My point was that I think James Cameron works very well with a very big visual medium. And a lot of what made Terminator big and a lot of what made Alien big is huge visuals. This is a very visual-driven storyline. And I know that Avatar was supposed to be, but Avatar really suffered with one of the worst storylines ever. That just really was just Pocahontas in space. It was. And I know it's a prevalent story, it's an important story, but it just didn't work in that movie. It just all felt so forced. And because the themes in the movie are important, I fully support the entire themes that it was trying to tell. It just didn't work.
I don't like Avatar either, so I'm not defending the movie. I just think but I do think it was well made. I just don't like the movie. I thought it was like Fern Gully. You know, it's a remake of Fern Gully to me. Yeah.
Yeah. And as for Titanic, I mean, come on, have you watched Titanic?
In the 90s, I haven't watched it since.
When did Titanic?
97 it came out.
Yeah. When did Titanic get good?
When Kate Winslet took her clothes off.
There's a point to be had. Other than that, when did Titanic get a good movie? When it hit the freaking iceberg.
Yeah, but at that point, it's just a visual thing. I don't think it's an issue with the movie as far as its construction. It wasn't a story that appealed to me. You know, I think it was a little schmaltzy, a little bit. I mean, I argue that I think it's a poorly made film. It wasn't a movie for me. I mean, Avatar, I think Avatar is a little more problematic than Titanic, but he was bound to make a shitty one eventually, you know.
Absolutely. I just realized, by the way, that I've shot myself in the foot here because I just looked up all of the movies James Cameron ever did, and one of my favorite movies ever is made by James Cameron. So I kind of shot myself in the foot here.
Which one?
The Abyss.
Oh, it's a great movie. I love that movie. Awesome.
The director's edition is beautiful. The director's edition.
I saw it on VHS years ago. I saw it on VHS. It's been a long time.
I shot myself in the foot there. I really fucked myself over here. Okay, so my point does not stand, but I do have a point where I feel that it's interesting that James Cameron did 2 sequels that are considered to be the best sequels ever, not counting Empire Strikes Back, which is, by the way, still the best Star Wars movie ever.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
No,
so
most people wouldn't argue with that.
I know of a few.
They're not smart people. So
I agree. We're so smart. We're so smart.
Yeah. No. You know what's funny though is when you bring up Aliens, Terminator 1 and Terminator 2, they are similar in such that like they were sort of dark techno kind of horror movies for the first, and then the sequels are more action oriented.
Absolutely. But interestingly, also a bit more character driven. There's purpose to what the people are doing. It is not just fighting a entity. They have reasons to protect things. You just mentioned that about Aliens earlier, Alien 2, whatever you want to say, where in the director's edition, there is a bit more depth to Ridley in terms of that we learned she had a daughter.
Oh, yeah.
The daughter, because of the cryo sleep that she did, her daughter, of course, aged. Interestingly, knowing that and then going back into watching Alien, the first one, that puts another level to her character where you're aware of she's doing this. She's aware of the fact that I'm going into cryo sleep. I don't know for how long, but that's the only way I can survive. But I have a family back home, and I don't know if I'll ever see them again. That adds a level of intensity to her character's decisions there. But her
I also think that like it better informs her relationship with Newt in Alien 2. Like without that information, you don't see like to me it can come off a little bit weird. But knowing that she'd found out literally like months prior, or less than that her daughter had died. Prior to the events of the movie.
Her daughter died at an age where she was not even at, and that makes it all very dramatic and very interesting. And that puts a lot more oomph into one of the most famous lines ever uttered in cinema. Get away from her, you bitch. You know, that entire line gets much more purpose to the character. And the same thing goes for Terminator 2, for Terminator Judgment Day. Now we suddenly have purpose to the characters, not just survival. It's survival for a reason. I need to protect something that can go on beyond what I am, what I have.
I never looked at it, and you're right. There's something about that sort of maternal paternal kind of thing, especially with Ripley, and what's Michael Bean's character, whatever.
Oh God, what's his face again? Yeah.
So I think it starts with an H. So like I said, that movie, yeah. There we go.
Hicks or Hudson?
I think it's Hicks. I think it's Hicks. But and then with Arnold and Sarah Connor in Terminator 2, they do have more similarities than I realized prior to our conversation here. Even despite the cast, like there's so many crossover. Like Michael Bean played in the first Terminator movie. The actress who played Vasquez plays in Terminator 2. There's what's his name? Even earlier we talked about Paxton was in the first Terminator movie. He played one of the thugs at the beginning.
Yeah. Right, he did.
Yep.
Lance Henriksen was in the first Terminator movie.
Yep, he played a cop. Yep, he got killed. As did Bill Paxton's character.
Interesting. Certain, like it's the Christopher Nolan effect. Christopher Nolan is most known for it, like drawing from the same actor all the time.
Kevin Smith too.
Kevin Smith. Oh, Kevin frickin' Smith, people. Come on. What an underrated genius that is, and what a weirdo. I love him. No, but like there is a good reason why Terminator 2, well, Terminator 2 as well, but Aliens just very much works as a movie. Yeah, because it just gives you everything that you want for Saturday night filled with beer and popcorn. It is a popcorn movie, but it is definitely one of the more nuanced and in-depth
especially the special edition director or whatever.
Absolutely. Yeah, I totally agree.
Yeah.
And then
go ahead.
Sorry, go for it.
No, go ahead.
No, you go first. I wanted to do a segue towards Alien 3, so I don't know what you still wanted to say. So
yeah, no, I was gonna say, like, what I liked about it especially is that even though the tone is so different, it does feel like a logical step from 1 to 2. You know what I mean? Even though the tone is so different, even though there's a lot of it that is that feels very different, nothing feels like diametrically opposed. It just feels like the next step. It doesn't feel like nothing feels like wrong about it. You know what I mean?
No. And that's a beautiful segue towards Alien 3 then, because I still believe that Alien 3 as a movie in itself, both versions, by the way, although I think I prefer the special edition.
Okay.
As a movie itself, it really isn't a bad movie. I like Alien 3, but there is something so completely different there.
Yeah.
That makes it work for its zeitgeist. It just, as a whole, as a franchise, it just stands out so differently. And especially when you watch the special edition, you realize how different the movie was. And this is one of the first big instances where studios try to interfere with the end product. A special edition, even where the alien comes from, the creature, the xenomorph, the chest burst scene, from which animal, is completely different in both movies.
Yeah, it was supposed like a dog or an ox or something. What was the differences? I don't remember now.
I have to look. In one of them, I think in what we ultimately knew, it was a dog, but
yeah. I think prior was an ox.
I think it was an ox in the original, in the special edition. But so many little things are different there, and the entire concept of looking, Alien 3 tried to be very meta. It tried to be very much like it almost tried to be Star Trek sometimes, with this sort of view on what are we doing wrong in society, how do we view certain elements of our society. In this case, it was inmates, and how do we treat people that we see as undesirable, and what do we do with them? And it tried to bring a sort of a social message into a movie in a franchise where it kind of doesn't work. So that's why I think that as a movie in itself, Alien 3 still works. It's awesome. But in the franchise, it just stands out as a sore thumb.
Yeah, like I described earlier, I felt like it came off like fan fiction to me. Not that it's a bad movie, it just doesn't work in the series to me.
Oh,
You know.
I agree.
I also don't like that they just weirdly offed Newt and Michael Bean's character at the very beginning of the movie for no reason. It was a weird they were just trying to cut the fat and just get right to Sigourney instead of dealing with the story that they had.
Yeah. So this was the point, and we talked about that in the chat. This was the point where they realized, okay, we have something here with Ellen Ripley. So we want to focus a lot on Ellen Ripley and have her be an amazing, strong female character. And in the first two movies, she is still like I see this meme pop up every now and then where these days you see a lot about people talking about we want strong female characters in the movies. And I'm looking at like some of the action movies from the 80s and the 90s, and I'm like, look at what we had back then.
Yeah,
we had Sarah Connor, we had Ellen Ripley, we had. The movies are bad. Don't get me wrong, but Tomb Raider, Lara Croft.
Oh yeah,
we had a lot of that stuff already, and I know that for you and me as men to say that it was there already. Let's be honest, the representation was very much askew. It was still focused back then.
No, it was definitely, and still is, askew. But the thing is that those were so prominent, and those are such good examples of having a female led movie that didn't feel like it was sending a message. It just felt like that this was a story they wanted to tell. It didn't feel like they were trying to kind of push an agenda, which there's no issue with the agenda. I don't mean that, but
I support the agenda, but
for sure, it's to me it never felt like it never felt like anyone was trying to push anything. It just felt like someone said, "I have an idea. This is what it's going to be," and it didn't matter. And maybe that's sort of the problem. Maybe the fact that Ripley's gender doesn't matter. Like they could have easily had a man in the role. Maybe that's part of the problem, or maybe it's part of the. I don't know. For me, I like that at the end of Alien. It's just like that Ripley is just the last one. She's just the one that's a little scrappier, but it never felt like the whole movie. I don't think until you get to about 3/4 of the way through that even feels like Ripley's going to be like the final one.
Yes, exactly. It's very much an ensemble piece, and I think my biggest issue with Alien 3 is where they try to create her character into something that the character wasn't.
I agree. Yeah. Yep.
And when Aliens, the second one, begins, she is still very much the same person as she was in the first movie. Oh, somebody's growling.
My dog. I'm not petting him enough.
I heard. I love that.
He's not growling. He's groaning.
He's groaning. Okay.
Yeah.
In the second movie, she is still very much the same Ripley, but during the movie, she is forced to do things like which we would normally see from all the big male, strong, awesome hero characters in the 80s. She's doing all these things, but she's doing it from not because she's suddenly this sort of action star. She's doing it because she has shit to do. She has people to protect. She has this little girl to save, and she's going to do whatever the fuck she has to do it. And that's what gives her strength there. She's just being herself. And somehow in the third movie, they wanted to turn her into this, I've been through this shit like 5,000 times already. And it felt a bit too forced. Suddenly she was supposed to be, I don't know,
a superhero.
And I appreciate that. I really love the fact that Ellen Ripley is, as far as I see, one of the biggest examples of strong female characters in a movie. I feel they made a little bit of a travesty of her character there. and that's a
like I
pity.
said,
Yeah.
and that's part of the thing is like I said, I feel like for me it's like a fan fiction. Like people were like projecting what they feel like Ellen could be instead of who Ellen was, and
Yeah.
Ellen was someone that perseveres and overcomes. Ellen wasn't a superhero. You know what I mean?
No.
To me, that's how I felt. You know.
I see.
Um,
I can understand that people want to see her as a superhero, as in, oh, look at what she had to do under all of her circumstances. So I
yep.
see that you see her as a super, but she wasn't like a superhero, a person with awesome powers, or 50 years of training as a Navy SEAL or whatever,
Yep.
or freaking, or like she was just her. She was her. She was doing what she was doing, and she did it
Yep.
because she had to, and
Yep.
she was just a strong person.
Yep.
And I love that, and I think that's amazing. And they sort of took. I see what they wanted to do with Alien 3 with her character. I know what they tried to do, but they yeah, I don't know. It just felt
Yeah.
off for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. There's certain things I liked about it. And I haven't seen it in a long time, so it'd be hard for me to kind of pull a whole lot that because said this morning I couldn't. I didn't have time to watch them all. Um, like I did like some of the cast. I like Charles Dance. He's a great actor. I like him a lot.
Oh,
You know,
yeah,
they brought Lance Henriksen back as Bishop. He's awesome. I like him as an actor. It's a very British cast. You know,
very.
other than that heavyset black fella. Forget his name.
Oh, I forgot his name. He was such a wonderful character there. He had this sort of Malcolm X vibe going for him, with the
Yeah,
glasses
his
and everything.
name Charles Dutton. He's a very good actor. He's awesome. But
What would I know him from? Because I know him, but
um, I know him. I know him. You know, like I remember him in Crocodile Dundee 2. He was in Alien 3, Distinguished Gentleman, Menace Society. He was in Rudy. Rudy's a great film. That's how I know him best. Probably is Rudy. Um,
I need
he
to
was in
look up
Low
so
Down
many
Dirty Shame.
movies.
He was in Seven. He was in A Time to Kill.
Seven
Name it.
is like, oh, sorry, seven.
Yeah.
Whew.
Yeah, I like him. He's a good actor. I think most people were kind of underused, because there was so much talent in the acting that I don't think.
Why do you? Yeah, I mean, why do you think that Harry Potter movies work? Because they had this huge pool of British actors to draw from. Like,
You're right.
I mean, come on, that. As much as the movies suck sometimes and how bad they can be, the Harry Potter movies just had a cast that was, ugh. Anyway, yeah, no, but I still appreciate Alien 3 for what it is, and I think it, yeah. Oh, I keep forgetting that you can do that because we're on the same.
Damn right.
Sometimes it sounds better when I had watched something and it sounds better in Italian, like Termination.
It means something you're right.
Yeah, I never watch dubs. I hate dubs.
I don't either. For me, I would rather a movie in the original language with subtitles.
Yeah.
That's for me though. I mean, I'm I I live in the country where most of the big movies are made, so I don't have to worry about those things.
Yeah,
So
I
I'm
know,
lucky, I
but
suppose.
so yeah, but it's funny. So I dated somebody from Germany for a while, and she told me as well. Like many people in Germany are not happy with the fact that many movies and shows there are dubbed instead of subbed, but it happens. And they actually have actors that. So, for example, Patrick Stewart in The Next Generation, right? So if they had an actor that would do Patrick Stewart in The Next Generation, that voice actor would do Patrick Stewart for other projects as well, because then they had
Oh yeah.
consistency.
Yep. I heard about that.
Like,
Yep.
how the fuck? Like, how even? Why don't you just? But yeah, that's me. I don't want to, because I know, and it's easy for me to say, because for me English is easier than Dutch.
That's very strange.
I know it is very strange, but I know that when it comes
Yeah.
to my English, I am near native. I am I think I told you the story. When I was in Scotland, people just were trying to guess which part of Scotland I was from, and at one point they didn't believe me when I told them I was Dutch.
Interesting.
So that's how my English is. But I know that there are many that, so it's easy for me to think like, why don't you just watch the movie in the original English with subtitles? But for some people, even that can be too much of a distraction, and they would prefer a dub.
Yeah, I mean, I prefer watching like if I'm gonna watch like an old Godzilla movie, I'd rather watch it in Japanese with the English
Yeah,
subtitles. That's how I am. You
agreed.
know,
Totally.
for me, it's still weird. Like, uh, one of my favorite time periods in history is around the late Roman Republic to the early Empire. So 2000, I don't know, 60 so years ago, and like it's weird to me whenever I see movies or shows and it's everyone speaking with English accents. Like they would be speaking Latin and Greek in that time, like the lingua franca of Rome, especially among the elite, was Greek. So like, um, even like if in the Senate House they would be speaking Greek to each other, not English with English accents. And it's weird to me. I would really really prefer to watch a movie sort of like with what Mel Gibson did with Passion of the Christ, where he did everything.
Yes.
I mean, as
Oh,
best he could, I suppose, with Aramaic and Greek and Latin and stuff like that. I would much rather watch it like that with subtitles. That's how I prefer, but that's just me.
so what you should look up? It's a Netflix original. Do you have Netflix, right?
Unfortunately, yeah.
Yeah. So there's this show called Barbarians on Netflix.
Okay.
But if I'm not mistaken, country of origin Germany, original languages German and Latin.
Okay.
It's set in the time period that you like. It's in the year 9 AD.
Okay. I'm down with that. Yep. That was right around the end
Yeah,
of
where the
Augustus's reign. He died in
yeah.
1480.
Okay, here we go. The story takes place during the Roman occupation of Magna Germania in 9 AD, where the Germanic tribes are oppressed by the empire's heavy taxes and demands for tribute. Attempts to form a unified Germanic resistance are hampered by petty infighting between the tribal chieftains and the selfish aspirations of certain tribesmen during desiring peace with Rome. Armanius, an eques in the Roman imperial army, is a Cherusci who was given away as a hostage to Rome when he was a child, along with his younger brother Flavus by his father Segima to ensure peace between his tribe and Rome. He returns to Germania to help Publius Quintilius Varus maintain order in the region. Upon seeing the atrocities inflicted by Roman soldiers on his former people, he becomes the new chieftain of the Cherusci tribe and ignites a rebellion by finally uniting the tribes with the help of Thusnelda and Volkwin Wolfspear, his two best friends during childhood. These events eventually culminate in a massive ambush of 3 Roman legions at the Battle of the Teutoburg Forest, where the Germanic people
Oh,
emerged victorious.
that's a story. I don't know about the participation of Roman children that grew up in
Oh
becoming
yeah,
German, but that battle in that forest, that did
it
happen.
did. Yeah, of course. And
Um,
so it's probably very romanticized, like that movie King Arthur with Clive Owen.
yeah, I like that movie. That's a fun movie.
It's a fun
I
movie.
liked
It's
it.
stupid because it doesn't make sense, because I love the
No,
fact that this movie is all about it. It was it's supposed to be set during the Roman withdrawal from um,
England.
England,
Yep.
and they already got that timeline wrong, like with
Oh
30
yeah.
years. They
Oh yeah.
already started, and then they have a character who is in the 5th century. They have a character fighting with a Chinese saber from the 17th century. And this movie
Yeah.
tries to portray
Interesting.
itself as being historic. Yeah, it wants to be historically accurate with a
Yeah.
saber. Anyway, but so the entire, like, the story that they have there in that movie is the what were they called again? The horsemen. The oh,
Horseman.
something with an S. Sarmanian. No,
No, the Sarmanians. No,
Sarmanians. Yeah,
yeah. Sarmatians. Sarmatians.
Sarmatians. That's it. So they
Yeah.
got all of these little historical things right. They just figured, like, if we have this alienated protagonist, who comes from this tribe but is Roman but isn't Roman, so it kind of is that. But my point was that entire series is German and Latin.
I'll have to check it out. I'm definitely into that.
And because it's a Netflix original, you should be able to watch it, because I know that Netflix varies in every country. The library
Yep.
does, but
It
you
does.
should be able to watch it because it's a Netflix original.
Yep. I'll look up. I would check, but my remote's across the room. I'm not gonna fuck around with that.
That's cool. What do you guys in books? No one has done the book. Pooh. So there's a heavy one. You want to
I
go
already know a
first?
book. I already know a book I like better. I like the movie better. I already know
Which
one,
is,
and
I think I might have the same.
Blade Runner.
I think I
think the
agree
book's
there.
called like the book's called I think Do Robots Dream of Electric Sheep, or it's something like that.
Yeah, by Philip K. Dickman.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's an amazing movie, and I think it's fantastic. I agree with you on that one. There's another one that I would say that works better as a movie, and even the author of the book said so.
What's that?
The Mist by Stephen King.
Interesting.
When Stephen King saw the ending of the movie, at least this is like internet trivia, so I always take that with a grain of salt, of course.
Yeah.
But apparently, when Stephen King saw the movie based on his book, he saw the ending and he said, "Motherfucker, I wish I came up with that ending."
I did read that before. I did read that, but I didn't like the movie that much. It was okay. I don't know.
It's because of that ending that just does it for me. I think it's fantastic.
It's so fucked up. It's so fucked up.
It's so fucked up. It's so incredibly horrid. Because in the original novel, they just drive off into the mist. There's no true.
He kills the kid.
Yeah, he kills his own son. He kills everybody, and he wants to kill himself, and he can't. And then he realizes, if I had waited 5 more minutes, everybody could have lived.
Yep.
Just like what the fuck is that? I am going to be one of those assholes that will say that one of the best movie adaptations ever, book adaptations, is The Lord of the Rings.
I think you're right for 2 movies.
Which ones?
The first 2. When you get to Return of the King, they literally cut out a third of the fucking book.
You have to watch the extended edition, of course. I have.
It's
but there is
ones I watch.
Yeah, I know. But there is stuff that I understand, because one of the things, like, I know there are so many fans of the book that complain about, but the ride of the Rohirrim was in the dark. Yeah, great. Let's put that on screen. It's not going to work. You need to make certain sacrifices. And
no, my thing is the Scourge of the Shire. That's the last third of the book, and they didn't even put it in. And
I do agree with that.
I didn't like that part. Fuck you, Peter Jackson, you prick.
Well, you know why I understand it, though. You know why I understand it. Have you ever seen a movie with so many endings?
Well, especially if you watch the extended one. The ending.
Holy shit!
Yeah.
It's like, but I will still say, I love Return of the King.
It's okay. My favorite one was Fellowship of the 3.
Of course, Fellowship is still the best.
Yeah. I like certain things about Return of the King. I really liked with the Mouth of Sauron, that guy, so good. There's things I liked about it. But it does bother me that they literally cut out most of the last part of the book.
I do. I get that. I totally agree with that, and that is a bit of a pity. And then there are things I do appreciate. By the way, I appreciate the fact that they made Aragorn's character a lot more interesting than the books by having him struggle so much with his heritage and not claiming the title of King of Gondor and Anor until the last movie, where in the movies in the books he basically is like, oh, we're gonna go throw a ring in a mountain of fire. Yeah, I'll claim my title as, the one true king, and reforge Anduril and do all of that. And I just like that they sort of push that away until that one last movie where he realizes, okay, you know what? And I know it's a trope. I know the entire story is a trope, but that's it works.
I like them. Those are some of my favorite movies. It's just that does bother me. Jesus.
I agree.
But I do think that Aragorn was a little bit was slightly underwritten in the book. I do think Gandalf was a little underwritten as well. I feel like Ian McKellen gave a lot more humanity, a lot more nuance to Gandalf's character. There's certain things they did really well in the movies. To be fair, I liked Merry and Pippin a lot more.
Mary
But
Pippin have a lot more background. Yeah.
but I think it's weird that they cut, like, I guess it makes sense that they cut Tom Bombadil, but it's weird that they would. He was such a major part of the first book.
Yeah, but I think that the problem is I'm gonna upset because I'm seeing Joe Gansel buying a bit. I'm gonna say something that not a lot of people are gonna like.
What's that?
Tolkien was a great storyteller.
Yeah,
he was a horrible writer.
I don't think he was a horrible writer. I just don't think that the purpose of his stories were to like. I think they were supposed to be fairy tales. I don't think they were meant to be like these great character studies. I think that we've changed what they were supposed to be, and because that's the way fiction went. But I think Tolkien, like he was not good at writing characters maybe, but he's good at writing stories.
Exactly, he's a great storyteller. But then at some points in the books, he can go on for 5 pages on how they are walking 1 mile through the woods, and then suddenly there's half a page of this happened in 5 days.
Yeah, somewhat. Yeah.
And then you're like, wait, what happened in the 5 days? I'm confused. Wait, what? So you flip back 2 pages and you're like, did I miss something? No, I didn't miss anything. Oh, okay. Having said that, by the way, I still do read Lord of the Rings once a year. There's a few books that I read once a year, and Lord of the Rings is one of them.
I haven't read that I was a senior in high school. But I read it of my own volition. I didn't have to read it for school. That was the time. I think I'd seen Fellowship, really liked it, so I bought the book. I bought it in a big fucking volume like this big, just this giant, heavy tome. And I read it all before Two Towers, and then because in that year period. I do want to bring up another book that I like as much as the movie, and that's movie. It's a movie called High Fidelity by John Cusack.
That's a book.
It's a book, yeah, by Nick Hornsby. He's a British writer, and the book is excellent. And it is a very good adaptation to screen, other than that it takes place in England. Some of the dialogue comes straight from the book. It's awesome. It's an awesome movie, and it's an awesome book. I would really recommend it. It's a great book. It's a fun read. I
want to get into that because I want to know a little bit more about that, but I kind of quickly have to go pee. If you're okay with that.
And when you get back, I'm going to go myself. So.
Okay, so you go entertain the crowds for like a little bit, and then I'll entertain the crowds then, and then we can go into High Fidelity, and maybe we can actually get back to Alien Resurrection at some point. But
okay.
But I'm going to go quickly. By the way, everybody, if you quickly just pop off for 1 second, we could quickly both pee, and then we'll just be back. I mean, people can entertain themselves.
Give me a minute. I'll just go now.
Cool. Me too. I'll be right back.
Yeah, I gotta. Yeah. Right back. Let's see here. I want to go through some of the chat here. We're talking about like books and movies and stuff, but Severia talks about films that come from old like PC games like Doom, Lara Croft, and so on. In general, I haven't liked that many that came from video games. I liked the first Mortal Kombat movie. I liked Mario Brothers, although that's most people don't. I thought it was a kind of a weird sort of techno messed up kind of a movie. I liked it. It was fun. I mean, maybe because I saw it as a kid, I liked it. I didn't really like the Lara Croft Tomb Raider movies with Angelina Jolie. I like I liked her in the role. I felt like they got away from what the stories of the games kind of were, where it was much more about the. It was less about people and more about like the environments and animals and stuff like that.
We did get some Angelina Jolie side boob in one of the movies, so that was cool.
The first one, yeah,
That
very
was
nice.
that was, that was like, yeah, nice.
Yeah,
Not complaining there. Um, High Fidelity. So I know the
yeah,
movie. It's been ages since I've seen it, but High Fidelity.
hmm
I was not aware that this was a book.
yeah. It's really good. I would recommend picking it up. You can get it for a couple of bucks on Amazon. What I like about it, especially the adaptation, is that like I said a lot of the dialogue comes directly from the book,
Hmm.
but there's it's more English, more like more British, you know. So
Okay.
they do translate it, but they did a really good job because they moved the location from I don't know somewhere in London, I don't know, somewhere in England to Chicago, and it's really good. Even like the descriptor of what's her name of Lisa Bonet's character, um what's his the bald friend describes her. It is verbatim, word for word, out of the book, other than
Love that.
where he says, you know, something about Alanis Morissette, but black. And like I think that was right in the book. So, but either way, it's really good. It's really excellent. And I love the movie. I like the movie a little bit better because I do like the weird stuff with like Bruce Springsteen showing up to give him advice in his own brain, and I like when he goes a little bit mad with and in his own head and attacks the shit out of Ian. And they remember they dropped the AC unit on his head in his mind. Um,
Oh, I need to,
I just love the movie so much, but I did like the book a lot.
I'm gonna have to
I
rewatch this movie because it's been ages. Like, help me out here with the cast. It's John Cusack. John Cusack, by the way, so underrated as an actor.
Yep,
Um, and we
Jack
just talked
Black.
about Lord of the Rings. Jack Black is in there in one of his, I think, one of his earlier roles, isn't it?
Yep, and he's awesome
Before
in it.
he got a Jack Black is. I watched School of Rock yesterday. I
So I
keep
hear that.
forgetting how that is. I keep forgetting how much of a gem that movie is. And I mean, it's simplistic in a way, but it also is very honest, like trying to teach kids a little bit about, just believe in yourself. What's her face? Arwen. Liv Tyler, I believe, right?
Nope,
Liz Tyler. What's her face? Arwen is in that movie, isn't she?
nope. She was in a movie around the same time, though, about a record store as well, but it wasn't this one.
Oh, I'm mixing up that one. I'm mixing up that one. Sorry, you're right. Um, no, but I just remember loving the movie, and it's been ages since I've seen it, so I should really look it up
Actually, I would
again.
like
And
look up the cast real quick because it says John Cusack, Jack Black, Todd Luiso, Catherine Zeta-Jones, Lisa Bonet, Sarah Gilbert, Liz Taylor, Joan Cusack, Tim Robbins,
don't,
Joel Carter, Natasha
God,
Gregson Wagner.
I'm seeing it here. Can we also just really appreciate Joan Cusack? Because again, I watched School of Rock yesterday. Why is the world not appreciating Joan Cusack the way they should?
Because she generally is in all John Cusack movies, and they get annoyed.
Maybe, but I just think that Joan Cusack is just. I love her in so many movies. I loved her in Adam's Family Values.
That's how I know her. Honestly, it's because of
That
that
is
movie.
just like that part that fucked up. Like, she
Yeah,
was the most insane creature ever in that movie, like the
yeah.
most insane person you'd ever meet. And oddly enough, I'd still date her.
Wow.
Like,
Um,
whatever. She has such a presence in that movie, such a powerful, such a great actress.
um, in High Fidelity, the actress who plays Laura. How do you pronounce that name? Do you know?
Which actress is it?
It's Eben something. I don't know. She's
Even
she's from Copenhagen, Denmark.
Danish. If I were to guess, it would be Eben Hjelje. Hjelje.
Okay.
That's the thing I would think. Hjelje.
Well, she's awesome in it, and you would never know that she wasn't American. Her American English is perfect. She's awesome.
Mm.
She's awesome, and she just, I wish I'd seen her in more American things. So she's a really, really, really good actress in this one, anyway.
So many of those actors and actresses that. What? Huh? Sorry, I got a message right now. Like somebody's talking about spare ribs right now. I kept for you. What? Okay, I have to get back to that. A friend sent me a message like spare ribs tonight. I've been paying attention. I think somebody's watching this live stream and realized I was talking about maybe getting takeout.
Oh, nice.
That's nice. It's always fun when suddenly people tell me like I saw something online. That was cool. I got a comment the other day like, I still have these emotions for this kid. He's my little brother. So I have this person from theater school. I call her my mother. She's my mom. That's how I feel about her. And she has children, and I called them my sisters and my brother. And we started chatting a little while ago because he wanted some advice about books. And I was like, go read that and that. Go read The Dark Tower. Go read The Dark Tower. You'll love that. That's an awesome series by Stephen King. So we started talking, and he mentioned how is your YouTube channel doing? I was like, it's going okay. And we were talking. And then like a few hours later, he was like suddenly at me and he was like, I'm really loving your mystery beer reviews. I was like, wait, you're watching them? He's like, I'm watching them. I'm watching all of them. They're amazing. I was like, what? That's cool. Thanks. Yeah, just a bit random in between. Comment. So, why do I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe? I love the Marvel Cinematic Universe because these movies aren't about Captain America, Iron Man, or Black Widow. They're about Natasha Romanoff, they're about Tony Stark, and they're about Steve Rogers. And they just happen to be their alter egos. You know what I mean?
Somewhat.
I always felt that the movies it was about their personal struggles. And of course they had to fight, aliens that can snap fingers and wipe out half of the life and universe and whatever. But I always felt it was about the characters and their humanity. One of the big reasons that I'm a big fan of Tony Stark, especially since Iron Man 3, I suffer from anxiety. I have a anxiety disorder. I have a fear disorder. I have that led to obsessive compulsive disorder. I have OCD. And here I am in my early 30s, struggling with this. I had therapy for it, and I try to make it part of my life. And suddenly there's this superhero who has anxiety and OCD. And I'm like, wow, that's pretty fucking awesome. And the entire movie is about him trying to come to terms with his coping mechanisms, his armor, his fear of losing everything around him, of his actions being the cause of everything around him getting destroyed, and that he is the cause of, and it's all irrational fear. It's not true. It's not real. It's all irrational, but that's what anxiety is.
Yeah,
and that's
I
what
looked
that
at it.
entire movie.
It's a PTSD type of thing. I never looked at it as anxiety, but you're right. I mean, because
Yeah, but
PTSD and anxiety they have
so
overlapping.
that's the thing. That's the thing. Anxiety can find its cause in many things. For Tony, it's PTSD.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah.
For me, it's different, but anxiety finds its cause in many things, and that's what I always really appreciated about Iron Man. And I always felt that the Marvel movies, I don't know how the comics are. I'm not a big comic book person, but I love the comic movies. And I always appreciated that the Marvel Cinematic Universe was really about the people, the characters, not about the events themselves. But that's my 2 cents.
I like some of them. I don't like all of them. I liked Iron Man 1 and 2. I didn't like 3. I like parts of it. But like honestly, the stuff I liked was the Tony stuff. I thought the the greater story I didn't really like. Um, I like the Captain America, the first two movies. I thought those were good. I like the first two Avengers movies. A lot of them I didn't like the first two Thor movies. I didn't like Guardians 2. I didn't like Captain Marvel. I didn't like Ant-Man 2. I didn't really like the last
Really?
two Avengers movies. Yeah.
Hmm.
I didn't hate them. I don't know.
They
They're
didn't do it for you.
okay. Yeah. They're fine. I watched them, but um I don't know. I thought that Civil War was trash. It's one of the worst movies I've ever seen. Um
Gasp.
yeah. I don't give a
No,
shit.
it's
Fuck
cool,
it.
man. It's cool. But that's your opinion. That's like your opinion, man, and whatever. No, but that's go. That's the thing, though. Nobody has to like the same thing, right? If you're not into it,
Yeah.
you're not into it. That's cool. I'm not gonna make a fight of it. I liked a lot of those movies, but I
Yeah,
think you
I
and
like
I,
plenty of them.
yeah. I'm curious. Why did you not like Captain Marvel? And that's not a judgment call or an attack. I'm just curious about your opinion.
I didn't hate it. I just didn't like it. I don't know. I thought that Brie Larson was very cardboard. I thought like all the stuff with what's his name? Sam Jackson I liked. I liked all his stuff.
Yeah.
I liked there's things I liked about it, I guess. I just thought that she just came off lifeless and flat. I didn't like Jude Law. I thought he came off like he was just cashing a paycheck. It it
Yeah. I
it,
mean, people
it,
keep complaining. Yeah, I agree. People keep complaining about how they felt like Brie Larson just was dialing it in or whatever. It was a cardboard. I didn't feel that. But I heard nobody about Jude Law and Jude Law in that movie, and he is one of the most amazing actors I've ever seen.
I agree.
And
Yeah, he's awesome.
in that in that movie, I was just like, why are you here? What is
Yeah.
your entire what? Why? I mean, and I will admit, I had to watch Captain Marvel a few times to really get into it. Um, but I like it now. It's not my favorite Marvel movie, but I do still like it, and I do think that Brie Larson got a bad rep from some people because I think she did a fine job. I think she did a good job with being Captain Marvel. I
It,
just think that,
I felt
yeah,
I felt like even though she had obviously a bit part in whatever the Avengers movie she was in, one of them, in
Endgame.
Endgame. Okay, I thought she came off better in that. Like her performance worked better for me in that one.
You
I
know
felt
what's
like
funny? She
uh,
filmed she filmed her scenes for Endgame before she ever
before.
filmed Captain Marvel.
You're right.
It's pretty interesting because she already it's like she felt because I loved her in Endgame. I loved her snarky attitude. I loved her her confidence, and actually that makes sense because by that time she is much more confident with who she is. She's been Captain Marvel for God knows how long at that time, like 20,
Yeah,
30 years or so.
but for me, it wasn't about like the characterization. It was the performance. I felt like
Mhm.
I felt like she showed up on set and was like, "This would be awesome," and had a good time. I don't. To me, it seemed like she was just waiting for the fucking filming of Captain Marvel to finish. Just looked like she was just bored. Maybe that's just me. I don't know.
Could be. I
Uh,
don't know, because I mean, shooting a few scenes for one film is hugely different than carrying one complete film by yourself. The responsibility there gets completely different as well. So maybe she just, you know, felt like, what's going on and what do I have to do now? Suddenly, I have to carry this whole film. I don't know what it was like for her. I mean, it's
yeah,
not as if Brie and
and
I are in a WhatsApp chat and we talk regularly, so I can fill in those blanks for you.
but
Um,
also I'm also projecting. Maybe I'm seeing something that she doesn't feel. Maybe for her,
yeah.
maybe that was the characterization. Maybe that's what she wanted. For me, it just looked like someone was bored.
It could
That's just
be. It
me.
could be. I enjoyed the movie for what it is. I thought there were some amazing scenes in there. I loved. I know this is going to sound weird for. I know I'm like the white guy. I'm like the white male to say these things, but I love the empowerment in it. I loved seeing how, especially in the era where it's set, like the late '80s, like a woman in the
Uh,
military and everything.
early '90s.
Early '90s, was it early '90s? I thought it was like.
Yeah, at one point,
Oh, sorry, no.
Stan Lee was reading the Mallrats script on the train.
Yeah, no, you're right. The movie set itself is set in the early '90s, but there's a part of her backstory that's set in the late '80s because there's like 6 years
Mm,
separation. I got mixed up with those.
okay.
I just think that all of that is like I thought it was interesting and I liked it, and I thought that Sam Jackson and what's his face? He also played in Rogue One.
Oh
Um,
yeah,
he
I
played
like him too. He's Australian, right?
Ben
Yeah,
something.
Ben. Some yeah, Ben. Yeah, I
He,
like him a
I
lot.
loved him. Yeah,
Yeah, I'll find his name. Rogue One.
but I liked Captain Marvel. I thought it was
Ben
it
Mendelsohn.
was Ben Mendelsohn. That's it. But I liked Captain Marvel. I thought it was a very fun movie. But as a
Okay.
movie in itself, it wasn't the best Marvel movie ever. But I really liked what it did. But I have to admit that of most of the Marvel movies, I'm not the biggest fan of the first versions.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like they have to set up a lot of stuff. Like Thor. I agree with you that Thor 1 and 2 weren't the best movies. Thor 3 was the best one. I
Yeah.
really enjoyed I enjoy Terminator. What? I enjoy Iron Man a lot. I really
Yep, me
do
too.
not like Iron Man 2. I think it's a horrible movie.
Oh
I
wow.
love Iron Man 3.
Interesting.
Yeah, and so that's
I think that we could do a Star Wars and a MCU episode sometime.
we definitely should. We should go into
So
that. I
yeah,
just realized, by the way, we've been going on for like 2 hours. Nice.
yeah.
And we still haven't talked about Alien Resurrection.
Nope. I want
And I
to
don't think.
try to work through these comments real quick. We can kind of
Yeah, go
beat
for
through
it.
them.
Go for it.
Then we'll go right. All right. So this one here, Joe Ganzel says the Harry Potter movies didn't come close to the books. No, he did this. He put the comment in over half hour ago. I never
Yeah.
read the books. I don't know. The movies I thought were okay. I thought like 4 and 5 were pretty good. I don't know. The movies were okay. I didn't like the first few. I don't know. But I didn't. I never read the books. Did you read them?
Oh yeah, definitely. I think that I read the books, and I do agree that there's stuff in the books that is not in the movies. But I am one of those guys that says that when you adapt a book to a movie, you're going to have to. Um, you can never make it one to one. It just doesn't work. So you're going to have to, kill your darlings. I'd also agree that there were some mistakes made in the books, in the movies that were in the books that I feel like these are weird choices. These are weird things. These are very out of character for the characters as known in the book. Like Dumbledore screaming, "Did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" And he was like
Oh
all
yeah.
screaming and whatever. Well, in the book, he was just very calmly like, "Harry, did you put your name in the goblet of fire?" So there's the characterization thing that goes, but then this is why I'm very forgiving for the movies. J.K. Rowling has been rewriting the books in tweets for like God knows how long now.
Years. Yeah.
And at first it was interesting, like, oh, that's a good tidbit. This is nice. And right now she's just basically rewriting all of Harry Potter on Twitter. And I'm kind of done with it. So I take it for what it is. I look at the movies
Yep.
for what they are. I read the books for what they are without her, extended edition commentary all the time. And I just take from it what I want.
Fair enough.
Yeah. No.
I agree
Because if
with you.
if you watch The Dark Tower, the
Oh yeah.
movie, it's a fun movie, but don't compare it to the books. The books are like
Or
uh,
Cujo, or It,
it.
or The Stand. I like Stephen King books better. That's
Um, Wait, there is one. There is one that is equal, completely equal.
yeah. What's that?
The Green Mile.
Okay. Yeah, that's fair. I don't remember the book as well. I know there were differences. Um, I don't remember that being offended by them.
Me neither. I mean,
Peter
there were
Jackson
some.
killed the
There were.
books. No,
But
I agree with Severio here. The Shining movie, I think, is better than the book.
Yes.
Better ending. Better
Yes.
ending anyway. Better ending.
Absolutely. Absolutely. The Shining is But that's Stanley Kubrick for you. I mean, I'm assuming he's talking about the Stanley Kubrick version. There's
I
a
assume so.
TV, yeah, but that was like, wow.
I don't think that the movie is necessarily better. I think it had a better ending though. But I like
Agreed.
I thought they were both good. They're both fine. I feel like a more climactic ending, you know, with the whole maze and all that stuff.
Yep.
Um, Joe Genzel liked the book better. He said, "The Shawshank Redemption is one of the best movies ever." Also, I agree. But it was a short story. It wasn't a novel.
Mm.
I read it as a kid when I was much younger. I remember being a short. I'm pretty sure it was a short story, but I love the movie and I love the book.
Apt pupil.
App's Pupil. That one I saw.
Fucking freaky.
I don't remember it that well.
It's so weird seeing Ian McKellen as like a Nazi commander. It's still freaking me the fuck out. What's your personal best book turned into? Oh, Jesus. Joe, really, I can't answer that. I want to, but I can't. That is like one of the... Sheesh. Ocarina of Time. Yep. Agreed.
Pick a Destiny was Jack Black, hilarious movie. Think about all the rock music.
Yep.
I thought it was okay. I liked the original Tenacious D television series better, and the original album. The movie's funny though. I like Jack Black. He's just a magnetic kind of a guy.
Jack Black is amazing. Have you seen his sketch with that weird saxophone thing on Jimmy Kimmel?
I don't remember.
I'll send it to you. It's
All right.
beautiful.
Yep. I prefer DC characters over Marvel. I don't love all the movies though. That would be, you know, silly to say. As a kid, I loved Batman '89. I loved Batman Returns.
Oh yeah.
I think that Reeves Superman movies are a little overrated. But I'm a Batman guy. And I like Superman too, and I like Wonder Woman. But I also like Iron Man. I like Captain America. I like Wolverine. I like the X-Men, and I read the comics as a kid. I was a fan.
Unpopular opinion.
Hmm.
And I'm not talking about the movies themselves as a whole or whatever. I'm just talking about the character and the actor. Henry Cavill is one of the best Supermans ever.
He's the best in my opinion. He is the best.
He
in
is.
my opinion.
He is. I think he did a phenomenal job with the part. The entire savior complex, struggling with finding identity. Physically, he, by the way, also as a guy, I mean, you can see a little bit. I have a hairy chest. As a guy, it was awesome to finally see like a superhero with a hairy chest for once. That was pretty cool. But just everything about it. I mean, I loved it. I think he did an amazing job. And I understand that there are flaws in Man of Steel, in Batman versus Superman, in Justice League, but just his performance as Clark Kent / Superman, phenomenal.
I like all those movies. I don't care. People can argue with me. I don't think they're fucking wrong. But I do like him in the role a lot. I think he's the best on-screen Superman, and I'd like other ones. I don't think Reeves was a bad Superman. I think that he was limited by the time, and I think that they were limited
Exactly.
by not wanting to use good villains. I don't know what the hell they were doing in those films.
I don't know.
But I thought Lois and Clark, I liked it enough as a kid. It was fine, I suppose. But Dean Cain was never my Superman. I liked Smallville enough. That was a fine enough show, and I liked Tom Welling. He was a good Clark.
He was.
I
Yeah,
thought
he was. It was fun seeing him in the Crisis on Infinite Earth crossover.
yeah.
That was like just the entire idea of a Superman who gave up his powers. Like, no, I just,
Mm-hmm.
you know what? I did this thing, and I'm happier as a guy living with my family. I have a wife. I have 2 kids. You know what? Fuck this. This is awesome. I like it, and I'm happy.
Yep.
And I don't need to be. This was almost like, I know it sounds weird, but you go to the savior story again, and this entire analogy that some people make with Superman and, you know, Jesus and everything. This was basically the guy that said no, and Moses and everything. But like, it's a weird comparison, but this is the guy that basically was like when Jesus said like, take this cup away from me. he was like, no, I'm not asking to have this cup taken away from me. Fuck it, here's the cup. I'm walking away. You do you. I'm doing my own life, and fuck off. And I kind of really like that part. I thought that was cool.
Yep. I think Tom Welling is an okay actor. I think he embodied that role really well, though. He was good. The other, I like Brandon Routh did a good job. The movie wasn't great. The
Which
first
one?
third was
Sorry,
pretty.
you cracked a bit
Oh,
for a
sorry.
bit.
Brandon Routh did okay
Oh
in Superman
yeah.
Returns.
Oh,
It's
he
not a great
did. I
movie.
like that. Oh, but I like it.
Yeah, I think he did a good job. I think that I think that the movie itself falls pretty hard off the rail, in my opinion, in like the final act. But I liked him a lot in the role. I thought he did a good job, and it's a shame. I mean, I'm glad he got to kind of get another crack at it last year with the Crisis story. But
That's good to see.
but yeah, he's a really good actor. I like him a lot. He was awesome in Zack and Mary. Remember that?
Zack and Mary make a porno. Oh my god.
Yeah, so good. He was in that one, but I like him a lot. And I liked him in the role. I like most of the guys that play Superman just fine, I suppose. I don't have any issues. I don't have any major issues with any of them.
I even like the new guy from the Supergirl show. He's getting his own Superman show now. What's his face?
Tyler Hoechlin. Yeah.
Yeah, I thought he did a good job in Supergirl, and I'm curious what he can bring to the table as Superman in his own show.
Yeah, we'll
I think he
find
can do a good job. Yeah.
out. Now it looks like the chat goes into talking about a Hitchcock film called Rear Window. I have not seen that many Hitchcock films.
Me neither.
I've seen a few, but I can't comment on it.
Same here.
Tar movie we mentioned already.
Okay, let me just say, I think the Dark Tower movie as a movie is entertaining. But there is just no way that you need to think of this as an adaptation of the novel. They just took concepts from the novels to make a movie. And so, yeah, don't compare it to anything. Just watch it as a popcorn flick on a Saturday evening with like some lager and crisps, and you're going to be fine. But as compared to the novels, I agree with Joe. It's crap. It's horrid.
All right. Do you want to get into Alien Resurrection?
Yeah, let's do Alien Resurrection for a bit, because I think if we're going to go into Covenant, Prometheus and Covenant as well, we can do this stream for like 4 more hours. So, Resurrection. You go first.
This one feels even less connected than the third one did. The cast, again, the cast is actually pretty good. Ron Perlman, I like him. Michael Wincott, Kim Flowers, Dan Hedaya, Brad Dourif. I like Brad Dourif in everything. He's a really good actor.
And I as a kid growing up, I watched there's this one movie called Mermaids with Cher and Winona Ryder.
Okay.
I think it's called Mermaids. I could be wrong, but Winona Ryder plays Cher's daughter. Whatever. Winona Ryder. I used to have the hugest crush on Winona Ryder, and
I never liked her.
Tiny woman, and she has short hair in that movie. I think she's adorable in that movie, but that's just me. But Winona Ryder is a bit of a character, I heard. But anyway, Winona Ryder, I thought she did good. And yeah, like you said, the cast in this movie, again, with an amazing director who made the movie Amélie.
Oh, yeah. Emily's a really great film.
It's beautiful. I mean, it's amazing. So it's weird to watch like the guy who made Amélie go to Alien Resurrection, or the other way around, whatever. I don't know which one came first.
Alien Resurrection was first, 1997.
Yeah, okay.
Amélie was 2001.
Wow, I always thought that Alien Resurrection was a little bit.
It does feel that way. It does feel that way.
I always thought that Alien Resurrection was like 2002 or 2003 for some reason, but that's just me. But look, like you said, it's this is again where studios interfere too much, and people really didn't know what they wanted to do, because they had an interesting script by Joss Whedon, story-wise, and you can see some of his Firefly influence thought process already in the crew of the Betty.
Oh, interesting. I never looked at it that way. You're right.
Yeah.
Like he was building a crew. Yeah, it was good.
Yeah. I think this is that crew would be the Firefly crew if it was R-rated.
Yeah, but it is still like a sketch of it. You know, he got, you know, he obviously he got to work on it over the next 5 years or so, 4 years,
Mhm.
and you know, Firefly is just, you know, to me it's a just a brilliant show, bulletproof. You know, they only did 14 episodes, so it's easy to
Yeah.
you know.
But Joss Whedon himself has said, by the way, he's gone on record where he said, "What I wanted to do with Alien Resurrection did not happen. The movie that you
Yep,
saw is not the movie I wanted. I wrote. That's not my movie. They did different things."
you're right.
So that is something that people do need to take into account when they watch Alien Resurrection, I feel. Don't
Yep.
think of it as a Joss Whedon movie. Just think of it as something that was based on Joss Whedon's thoughts.
Yeah, I honestly, I often forget that he was even part of it. Did he end up getting final credit? Oh, he did. All right. But I know that there was a lot of changes to what he did.
Mhm.
You know.
Yeah. And again, they took the Ripley character in such a weird. Like, I see what they thought that it could be fun. Like, what if she is now half, xenomorph?
Yeah, she's like
But
superhuman. It was meh.
yeah, that's literally when they turn her into like a superhero. And for any other character, if it was just a generic person that they found, like we once found this person that had a alien queen in her, and we cloned this person, then you could think like, okay, it's cool, but it just doesn't work for the Ripley character.
No, it was when you watch Alien 3 and Resurrection. It's almost like watching a franchise go off the rails. You know,
Yeah.
it's like watching Batman Forever and Batman and Robin. You know, they were,
The
you know, uh,
nipples were hot though, but
what?
you said Batman Forever and Batman and Robin, and I always think about the nipples in the bat suit. Like the nipples
Oh
were
yeah,
hot.
he cut out a bit. I thought you said something about Nicholson. I was like, what?
No,
But
no, no,
okay,
no, no.
yeah, yeah, bad nipples.
Bat
Um,
nipples.
yeah, I don't know. Like for me, like I know I haven't seen Alien 3 or Resurrection since around the time they both came out. I probably saw them on HBO or something. You know, I didn't see them in
Yeah,
theaters, but I I know that when I was watching it, it didn't feel like Ripley. It didn't feel like that was what I was watching. I felt like, to me, you know, some kid wrote some shit fan fiction and they put it on
agreed.
film.
I would like to say, by the way, that I did like Sigourney Weaver's performance in the movie. I thought she did pretty cool with what she got, and there were some
Dude,
awesome
Sigourney's
one-liners
a good
from.
actress,
Oh yeah,
you
she
know.
got some great one-liners in. I mean, I still love that scene between her and Ron Perlman, where she's like, "Who do I have to fuck to get off this boat?" And he says, "Like, I can get you off. Maybe not the boat." I still love that line. I still love that was just, I can get you off. Maybe not the boat. That, I still think that's what was it again? Somebody told her at one point. There's a line in the movie. Somebody she is so deadpan in some of her deliveries. So as an actress, I still love her in that movie. I thought you died, and she says, "Yeah, I get that a lot." The way she delivers that line is just. I love her in that movie as an actress. I just don't like. What up, Adam? I just don't appreciate what they did with the Ripley character. But yeah,
Yeah, I agree. It would. I kind of wish that someone had sort of went and taken the character seriously post
mm,
Alien 2.
yeah,
I would like to see, because to me those characters aren't Ripley. I would be interested to see kind of like you know how they did. I don't want to see it now. I guess with sort of Weaver now, but you know how they did that new Halloween movie a couple years
seen
ago,
it.
and it
Seen it.
okay. Well, it takes place as if none of the other Halloween movies other than the first one ever happened.
Mm,
Like you know, even though whatever her name is I can't think of anyone's names right now, but what the hell was her name?
Jamie Lee Curtis.
Jamie Lee Curtis. Like even though she was in Halloween 2 and then Halloween H2O and Halloween Resurrection. She was in other Halloween movies. This movie takes place as if all the other movies never did, and she is not Michael Myers' sister and all that stuff. Like she's just someone that he hunted down in the first movie, and it, um, there's been a few times where you see these movies that sort of like just basically nullify sequels, and I wish something like that would happen with those, because those movies just, they don't feel like the Alien movies to me.
There's one scene in Alien Resurrection where I feel that in this cloned version of Ripley, we see some Ripley coming through, is where she discovers her previous clones.
Mhm.
And then there's this one previous horrified version of her laying on that bed begging to kill me,
Mm-hmm.
which is a nod to the scene with her and Kane in the original Alien. And she displays
only in the director's cut. It wasn't in the original.
Exactly. That was in the director's cut. And then she displays the same type of emotion. Like, I don't want to do this. Don't ask me to do this, but I know I have to do this. And that where we see, and they ruin that moment by having one of the cool guys going, "What a waste of ammo. Must be a chick thing." I'm like, really? Really?
Yeah.
Did you really need to do that? Did you really need to have that one moment where we finally saw Ripley from the first two movies? And then you had to ruin it by that one line, "Must be a chick thing." Fuck off.
Yeah.
Sorry, that pissed me the fuck off. And no, the last time that I watched Alien Resurrection, I turned it off halfway through. I couldn't anymore. I tried to defend the movie by saying it is a zeitgeist movie and it fits as in when it was made, how it was made, why it was made. But I couldn't watch it anymore. For me, Alien goes to Aliens. If I'm in the mood, Alien 3, and then I'll go to Prometheus and Covenant.
Yeah, I think that I don't think that Prometheus and Covenant are like, bulletproof movies or anything, but they're certainly they're better, more fun watched than fun's the wrong word. I think fun's not the right word. But it's more satisfying watch than Alien 3 and 4.
I agree. They had a lot more impact. The movies had an emotional resonance to them, and I know that a lot of people hate him for comparing them to the first Alien movies, but just watch them for what they are, and watch them for what Ridley Scott tries to do with this story about how it's almost like it's such a basic story. Maybe that's what people don't like. It's about humans wanting to have that answer. Who am I? Is this all that I am? Why am I? Who made me? And there is nothing more shattering. One of the most fundamental breaks in a character of any person is when you look at your parents and realize they're just human. They are not these people that you put on a pedestal, that they are fantastic creatures, which a lot of us do. We think of our parents as like, we love them and they're our mother and father and you created us. And then you look at them and you realize they're flawed. And
I've never had that with my parents.
No, well, I've had moments with my parents where I realize, you guys are imperfect, but that doesn't mean I love them any less. But that's the concept that this movie wants to do. Like, you look at what created you, you put it on a pedestal, you want to know, why am I? Why am I? And then the only answer you get, because. And what does that do with you as a person?
For me, I mean, by the time I was like 6 years old, I'd seen both my parents arrested over and over again.
Wait, what? You what?
Yeah, I mean, as a kid, my parents were fucking idiots. I mean, they were idiots. My mother was still in high school when I was born, and she was barely out of high school.
Sorry, dude. Sorry, I wasn't aware. I'm sorry.
Okay, I'm not worried about it.
Oh, okay, I feel a bit crap right now. Otherwise,
don't worry about it. No.
Okay.
Listen, I'm 36. I'm 36. I don't give a shit. Like I'm a grown man. Like, those are their mistakes, not mine.
I'm older than you are.
Yes.
Oh, I thought you were older than I was.
Nope. And every time we have this conversation, which I think is the third time, this is how it goes.
Hey, dude. 11% as well. Okay, so
That's fair. No, it's fine. No, no. What I'm saying is that I never had that moment where like I thought my parents were infallible. You know, like by the time I was in first grade, my math was better than my dad's. By first grade or second grade, my dad couldn't even help me with my homework. You know what I mean?
Mm.
He was just not intellectually, you know, strong in
Okay.
any way. You know, like when I was starting, like I remember doing like division and whatever in like third or fourth grade, and for him that was beyond comprehension. You know,
Okay. Well,
my mother was a little sharper, but she wasn't very bright either.
well, then that analogy sort of goes out of the window, I guess. But that for me, that is the sort of the point that the movies try to make. Like you look up to, you want to know that, you want answers. You want answers like why and how, and then when you can't find them, and that's where Covenant goes in. Then how do you? Covenant for me is the response to you don't get the answers you want. So how do you know lash out? How do you reach out? And that's what Covenant to me, and that is why I'm still interested in what Ridley Scott can do with a third movie, and what that third movie would be. Oh, Dogger. I love that doggo.
Um, Thomas, I have to get out of here. I
Yeah,
would
man,
like to
you're
do
right.
I would like to do a Prometheus and Covenant conversation. I would like to do a Star Wars. I'd like to do
Agreed.
Terminator. All these movies. I
Agreed.
would like to do these series. We should do
We need
these.
to do
Just
these
make it.
things. But yeah, we're going to make those happen because we've been at it for like 2.5 hours anyway. So this is
Yep.
good. I should check into like, what am I going to do for dinner? So that's going to be cool. So you have a good day. Thanks for doing this. This was fun, and we should definitely do this more often.
Awesome. Bye, Thomas.
And yeah, talk later, buddy. Cheers.
Bye-bye. Cheers.
And for everybody else who's still here, I'm going to end this live stream as well. So all of you, thanks for watching. And if you ever want to watch more beer and movie talk, as you just saw, Mike and I are going to be doing this in the future more often. All of you, thanks for joining, and catch you on the flip side.